Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for spending Tuesday night with us. Feel free to get on camera. You don't have to. If it's going to make you get off, don't do it. But if you do not mind, we're all women, and it's a lot easier for us to present if we could see faces versus name. For anyone that stays on for the entire call, there will be a recording sent out to all of you. So my team will actually screenshot your names. So make sure your name says what you signed up with. They will make sure you get the recording. Okay, where are you guys located? Into the chat. Where are you located? New Jersey. Welcome, Erica. Paula, it's okay. I mean, if you want to come on, you can. You should see how I've shown up to some of these. Well, the other calls, not webinars. Laura would kill me. Austin, Orlando, Bend, Oregon, Texas, North Carolina, Hawaii. I was born in Hawaii. Pittsburgh. My dad was born in Pittsburgh. North of Seattle. My best friend lives there. Texas, Chicago, New Jersey, Biloxi, Mississippi. I know that city really well. My son's grandma lives there. Maryland, Florida, Washington, D.C. I'm trying to get my camera situated. Thank you, everyone that's coming on, though. That is so nice. It's so much easier to present when I can see faces. Cleveland, Ohio, Clinton, Maryland, Charlotte, North Carolina, Metro Atlanta, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Tampa, not far from me. I'm near Fort Myers. I'm in Cape Coral. All right, I'm probably going to mess this up. Is it Hobie Sound? I'm pretty sure. And then California, Thousand Oaks, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, New Jersey, Colorado, Texas, Austin.
I feel like we're traveling without leaving anywhere.
Missouri, we're in Missouri. I grew up in St. Louis. I'm there all the time because that's where one of my businesses are. Awesome. Okay. Okay. All right. We are going to immediately jump in because we have so much to cover and we want to make sure we cover it before you guys want to go to bed. Sound good? Are you guys ready to get going? Hey, Sharon. St. Louis also. Awesome. Okay. Well, next time I'm in St. Louis, we need to do a meeting. Okay. So if you guys are super excited to get going, then into the chat, we are ready, right? So I'm going to spotlight this so you can see this. If you're having issues, you may need to move into speaker view and stuff like that, but you should be okay as long as I spotlight it. Laura, you ready?
Yes, well, welcome everybody. And for the ones of you that don't know, Liz and I are a mother and daughter team. And so we're gonna, we work together as real estate investors, and we're also gonna be here tonight to share a lot of information with you. So welcome. I'm very excited to see you here attend this evening from all over the United States. So let me ask you, why are you interested in getting into real estate? And if you're already in real estate, what are you looking to do next? Again, you type in the chat box, why are you interested in real estate?
Well, I'm curious too if you're new. So if you're new to wholesaling, because we actually, believe it or not, we have some slides, but we tailor this to you guys. So we actually will have no idea how we're really going to run this until we meet with you and get to know you guys.
And that's the thing, right? The slides are just to keep us on track, but we feed off of what you say, your energy. That's why it's so important to see you as well on video. Okay, so a lot of you are new, beginner, and new financial freedom. And but we're going to kind of go into different layers tonight. Financial freedom is something you say, but what does it mean to you, right? It means different for everyone here. For me, it's more like time freedom. Financial freedom buys time freedom. I've done several classes on wholesaling, but no deals yet. Well, we're going to change that this evening, okay?
Yeah.
So
awesome. Okay. So we have pretty much all new. All new. That's good to know because we can slow things down a little more than if we were to have more advanced. So that's very good to know. Okay, so you guys are all new. Why wholesaling? Why real estate? making money to invest in multifamily. Hey, Julie, nice to see you again. Generational wealth, looking to remotely wholesale as the Hawaii market is expensive. I actually just talked to someone a couple of weeks ago that's in Hawaii saying the same thing. She wants to invest in the US, like the mainland. Okay, build capital. Lucrative and wholesaling is the fastest way to get started. I've done a couple of wholesale deals. Great. Anyone else? Awesome. Well, keep them coming in. I promise we're reading them. But because of time's sake, we want to kind of move along here. So we have a lot of new, and then we do have a few that have done a couple of deals, but it does not matter. I still will read all these chats after this. Briefly about us. Why do we feel that we can teach you basically tonight, right? For those of you that don't know us, and I know a lot of people are coming in just now, I am Laura Alamary's daughter. I'm the oldest of four. My other sister is on tonight too. She actually takes all of our photography and social media. So we're like a whole family run business. I started investing in 2015 at the very, very end of 2015 after I went through a divorce. I went through a divorce and lost somebody that I had been with since I was 16. So almost 9 years in together, lost everything overnight. Lost everything, left with $5 to my name, sold what I could to get back to my house in St. Louis. We lived in the middle of Kansas because that's where he was stationed. And I basically had to start over. To keep my story really, really short, because a lot of you know me already, we are going to fast forward to when I actually started doing deals. So I went through a lot of struggle. Okay. Lost 50 pounds, couldn't eat. I made sure my son could eat. So I went without eating for days at a time. When I tell you I understand the struggle, I understand the struggle if you guys are there. I started in 2015 with wholesaling. Now it took me a few months to get into it. Why? Well, let's be real. I was terrified of real estate. I saw what it did to my mom. My mom's been through 3 recessions. I was 17, just turning 18 when when the real estate market crashed in 2007, 2008. And I really, really saw what the dark side of real estate did to people. And so what I did was I was like, okay, that's a little scary, but I had a good conversation with Laura, and this was October of 2015. And Laura basically had a come to Jesus moment with me. Okay. She was like, you're my daughter. You should be by far the most successful student I have. What is going on with you? This is almost embarrassing. Okay. So she had a real come to Jesus meeting with me. And she basically said that I told her, I said, I don't know. So 3 hours later, I don't know if you know this, but Laura's Italian. So she can talk. And she kept me at that table until we figured out what was going on. And she basically said that she had given up. And I'll let her share her own story, but she had given up. She was being really badly burned by friends in 2007, 2008. And it was just not the time for her to be in real estate. She wanted to get out. And that's why we lost everything. She could have reinvented herself and she didn't. And there was a lot of things going on there. So I had this fear and I said, okay, well, what do I do if a recession was to hit? And we're going to share some of those ways tonight. So I'm not going to give it out just yet. And she told me, and it unlocked it. I had my breakthrough. I felt like, okay, I could do this. And so from that moment to the very first deal was 3 weeks. Yes, 3 weeks. I closed my first wholesaling deal. It's the one in the bottom right there. This was in St. Louis. I lived in Florida at the time. I still live in Florida, but during this time I lived in Florida and closed my first deal. Turnaround, I made $6,300 or $9,300 on that deal. And I was like, okay, there's something here. And so I started doing more deals. Come to now my second market. I was doing really well in St. Louis and I wanted to successfully do another market. Keep in mind here, I'm sharing this. I live in Florida. I lived at the time in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I now live in Cape Coral, and my business was in St. Louis. I started, here's the next house. The first house I ever did was in St. Pete. I sold this house in 2 weeks. From the time it was under contract to the time of closing, I think I made like a little over 10K on this home. And I was like, something's going on in this, this neighborhood. That sold so quick. And I started my second market. Now I have done deals completely virtual. meaning that I have never met with a seller in person. I have never shown a home. I have never looked at a home unless I was driving by for driving for dollars. I have done this completely virtual from the start of my career. I've done deals in Orlando, I've done deals in Pittsburgh, I've done deals in Philadelphia, I've done deals in Chicago, and obviously my main markets are that was Miami. We stepped out of that, and now it's St. Pete and St. Louis. That was not planned to have both Saints in there. And I do really well. I close an average of 6+ deals a month consistently. Again, I do not see these homes. This is completely virtual. So I have built a completely virtual business so that I can be there for my son. I'm still a single mom. I call myself a chauffeur from 5 to 8, where I take him to all his different things, and I get to be there for everything. I'm co-founder of Real Estate Investing Women. I'm a full-time investor. I purchased the first property in 2015. That's been a little over 8 years now. I've closed hundreds of wholesaling deals. Again, every deal is completely virtual. Who's interested in virtual, by the way? I oversee 18 real estate clubs. I also oversee I'm an organizer of real estate summits. Some of you have seen, went to our recent retreat, which was virtual this time. I've been featured in the news twice on NBC6, and I have been featured in the newspapers multiple times. I mentor thousands of women who want to invest, and I'm still a single mom, and I am still doing this. So when I say that this is more than possible for you guys, this is possible. I built my dream home. I bought my dream home in 2020. So I went from nothing to starving to not making bills to losing 50 pounds to not knowing what I'm going to do to all of that to in 5 years. And I could have bought it sooner, but I love the rental life. Like I don't like liability. That's why I wholesale and don't do rentals and fix and flips. But I love what I do. So tonight I'm going to teach you how to bring your business completely virtual. And if you want to do it from the start, I will teach you how to do that as well. So I will be throwing out a ton of information, but to keep it short, I became a coach in 2020 during COVID, when Laura asked me to be a coach and I said no. And then because I didn't want to coach because I was scared and, liabilities, and then turned around and COVID hit and I had to teach all the students how to bring the business virtual. So all of my students overnight went to a completely virtual business with my help. And I eventually told Laura that I would coach and help. And that's how I became the face of REIW. So I will be here a lot to help you tonight. And we will talk all things wholesaling. Please, please, please know we will have a Q&A at the end. So you can ask me any and all questions that you have. But I'm going to introduce the powerhouse of the hour, though. This lady has been investing for longer than I've been alive. I have witnessed her at the height of her career and at the bottom of her career, and she continues to amaze me. So I am going to remove my spotlight, bring up Laura, and you guys are going to be able to learn a little about her.
Great. Well, thanks for the introduction, Liz.
No problem.
So I'm going to keep this relevant to only wholesaling because, as a lot of you know, if I go into my story, I've done my story, it takes about an hour and a half. And that's because my career spans 4 decades. I actually started back in 1987. And like Liz says, I came from Italy and I started investing in Hawaii. So that's where I started. Actually, I was a real estate broker in Hawaii. And I started flipping properties. I lived near Honolulu. And honestly, I started in real estate just a way to pay for college. I kind of stumbled into it. And within a year, I was one of the top producers. Now, one of the things that really empowered me back then, I was very young, is that I was in this real estate company of 75 real estate agents and 74 were women, because the owner of the company believed that women had a special gift when it came to real estate. And the only reason she had one man in the company was for her Japanese market. And, he was Japanese, but everybody else was women. And it was really good. I loved the community. I loved that everybody was so supportive. And during this time here, this is where I encountered what today they call wholesaling. Back then, it was called flipping a contract. How many of you heard the term flipping a contract? Okay, so that's what it was called then. And honestly, that's a more accurate term because you're not owning real estate. And that is one of the big mistakes that people make. That's why wholesaling got a bad name, because people misrepresent what they're doing. Okay, guys, you're flipping a contract, you're not owning a property when you flip it. So I tell you what happened with my first wholesale deal. So this was back in 91. I was purchasing a home in Hawaii to live in myself. As I know we have some people from Hawaii here. The home was in Hawaii Kai. And I was buying this house to flip, and it was a probate. So I had it under contract. And then my husband, which was Lisa's dad, got orders to leave. He was in the army. So I was going to get out of the contract because somebody in the office told me, no, why don't you flip the contract and make some money? And I did that, and I made $75,000. So with that on, I came to the mainland in 91. And believe it or not, I thought that was just a fluke. I didn't know there was a business. Nobody was really wholesaling back then. It wasn't a thing. And in 91, I went into rentals and I started building a rental portfolio. Now, whenever I do something, I do it 1,000%. I don't just dip my toes into it. So within about a year and a half, I built a portfolio of over 40 doors with $10,000 of passive income every month. I had small children. Liz was only a couple years old and her brother was only a couple of months old. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate, wanting not to be in a corporate office. However, I did go work corporate because as a lot of you also, you are raised to believe that you have to get a degree, you have to use your degree and so forth. And, that's a security, right? And so I went out there and I got my degree in accounting, then I pursued my MBA, which I finished. And I started working corporate, but I hated it. I hated every minute of it. And so I was doing real estate on the side. And then now, as far as wholesaling is concerned, my pivoting point was about 93, 94. As I was buying my rental properties, I was at this closing table one day, and I saw that the person on title was not the same person on the contract. And the real estate broker actually happened to be the one on the contract. And I asked him, said, what's going on here? He said, I'm flipping this contract to you. And now I remember that I had come across that in Hawaii. I was like, oh, there's something to this. So I said to him, I said, can I come and work for you? So I went to work with him, and that's how I learned about wholesaling. This was about 93. And in 95, there was a pivotal time in my life because I decided I was going to walk away from my marriage. And I also needed substantial income. I had 3 children at that time to support. Liz is here tonight. My other daughter is here tonight as well. Her name is Alex, same last name as Liz. And so I said, okay, I need to do something. And wholesaling to me seemed the fastest way to really get a big cash infusion. And nowadays, and I might want to trademark that, I call it wholesaling my ATM machine. When you want to do something, I say I want new money, right? Money from wholesaling. I don't want to dip into my saving. So if I want to buy a car or take a trip or whatever, I just wholesale a couple of deals, and that gives me the money. So anyway, 95, that was a pivoting year for me because I walked away from corporate. Okay. So with that said, and I'm going to give you a really good tip here. How many of you want to walk away from your job? How many of you are looking to really change? Oh, wow. Okay. I don't see a lot of you in my screen, but I see enough hands are being raised. Okay. So I did 3 things. Okay. Number 1, I gave myself a deadline. I didn't know how it's going to happen. I didn't know what I was going to do for sure, but I gave myself a deadline, which was 6 months. So I made a decision. I remember it was June, that by holidays, I was going to give my 2 weeks notice. Number 2, I really time managed and organized my schedule. Now, think about it. I had 3 small children at the time. My youngest was less than a year old. My oldest was 6 years old. And I was finishing an MBA. Okay. So I don't want to, and I live 2 hours from the city, so I had to commute. So I don't want to hear excuses when people say I don't have the time. I made a decision. You get to a point in your life that you got to do what you have to do. There is no option B, right? You just have to do it. You're fed up with everything. I was fed up with my job. I was fed up with my marriage. I had to do something. And I look at wholesaling, it giving me that financial freedom. And so I managed my time. My commute to work, my lunch hour, breaks in the afternoon, put the kids to bed at 7:30. I did what I have to do to make this work because I knew that it was not going to be forever like this. I was going to do this for 6 months, and then I could quit my job and never turned back. So was it tiring? Was it stressful? Of course it was, but it wasn't forever. Honestly, I could have walked away after 3 months, but I stayed 6 months because I made that commitment. And the third thing is, I really, it's like I said, I managed my time. I did what I had to do, and I gave myself a timeline. And you want to work smart, not harder. So when I managed my time and I did what I had to do, I was setting up, money making activities. And this is something I teach, with the students. It's like a lot of time you get lost in the weeds, especially in the beginning. A lot of you say you don't know where to start. What do you know what to do, right? So you have to do what matters. At the end of the day, what matters the most for anybody here? You want to close a deal, right? You want to prove to yourself that it works. You want to make some money. There is nothing that is going to substitute. You can't buy confidence. Doesn't matter what coaching program you buy, you can't buy confidence. Confidence comes from you doing something. Confidence comes from knowing what you're doing, right? And so once I started doing deals, and I was doing several deals a month, obviously I felt that I was on top of the world. So then I went back into fix and flips. I went back into buying more rentals. And let's fast forward a little bit. I went into syndication, raising private money. And then Elizabeth said 2007 happened. And one of the biggest mistakes, a couple of things I made mistakes. And I'm telling you this so you don't make the same. Number one, I got caught by the media. I got caught by the world. I got caught that everybody was like saying, oh my God, the world, everything is upside down. Everybody's losing mortgage foreclosure. Well, the thing is, in real estate, when one door closes, several over opens. Okay, yes, everybody was losing their house in foreclosure, but then I could have gone into foreclosure prevention, right? So a couple years later, I finally came to the realization that what else am I going to do? Of course, I know real estate. So I went into foreclosure prevention and short sales. So 2009, I started 1 week before Thanksgiving. By the end of 2009, I had over 30 short sales under contract because like I always say, when I do something, I do 1,000%. And so no excuse that you cannot do it during the holiday season. And then in the process of doing this, people start asking me, how do you do this? How do you do that? So I started teaching. For a year and a half, I basically just gathered all my information. And then I started teaching in 2011 how to invest in real estate, from wholesaling to rentals to raising private money, which I did syndication for many years. So I started teaching, and that is how I got Elizabeth finally to come on board. And then I expanded my circle. I coach men and women for several years, but we focused only on women the last few years. But a couple of things I want to tell you, the moral of the story here, and then we can start getting into the content, is number one, you have to reinvent yourself, okay? You are an investor. You are an investor. It's different when you are an investor than when you are just a regular real estate agent or anything else, because you really make more money when things change. When COVID happened in 2020, I told Liz, this is the time you should buy your house. And she did. She got a great mortgage at 2.5 interest rate. Okay. And now her house has doubled in value. So when there are these big shifts, that's what you should do. That's what you should buy. Like Warren Buffett said, you should be greedy when everybody's fearful and fearful when everybody's greedy. 2007, the people that didn't sit on the sidelines made a ton of money in short selling pre-foreclosure prevention. Okay, when we had 9/11 in 2001, again, 2002 was one of the best years ever. In 91, after the Gulf War, that's when I started buying my rental properties. And I was buying stuff at 50, 60 cents on the dollar because everybody was scared when the war was going on. But that was the time to buy, right? Be greedy when everybody's fearful. So think of this. So if anybody here tonight is afraid about what's going on in the market and the economy, don't worry about it, because you're going to reinvent yourself, and there is always going to be a way to make a lot of money in real estate. And when things change, that's even so. So now what do I do nowadays? Well, Elizabeth is wholesaling in volume. I do more fix and flip or luxury properties. I actually have a property one. I'll show here the picture. Some of these are rentals. I did new developments. That picture in the middle, that was in St. Louis, by the way. Some people here from St. Louis. And then at the bottom, I'm actually rehabbing that home. here in Florida, and I just bought another home in Boca Raton that we're rehabbing as well. So I do only property $1 million plus. So more about quantity instead of, I'm sorry, quality instead of quantity, and doing fix and flip. One side note, I'm the only coach in the country that coaches about flipping luxury real estate. And the reason being is because I did start in Hawaii, and my experience started with luxury homes. So I'm glad you're here tonight. Let's get going here with some content. Liz, I know you already shared what we do as far as different events and everything.
Yep.
And we were featured in the news several times.
Yeah, so we were featured in the news, and funny story, that anchor woman became a student after she interviewed us. She loved us so much. She became a student. Laura's written in REI Wealth. We've been featured in the newspapers and all of that. Hold on, it's like freezing. There we go. And then we do retreats. You got to join the virtual one. Some of you got to join us. Who was on our virtual retreat like 2 weekends ago? Right? I know there's a few. I recognize some names here. Exactly. Well, we also do one in person. The next one is in September. This will be in Fort Lauderdale. They are so much fun. So we also do that as well. Okay, Laura, let's get going.
Okay, great.
All right. So I want you guys to, if you have some paper nearby, I want you guys to kind of write this out because this is important. These are the pillars. And if you're at the retreat, you know what this is. These are the pillars to a successful wholesaling business. There are 3 main pillars because in the middle, at the end of the day, what do you want besides money? Consistent closings, right? Well, in order to do consistent closings, you need 3 parts of your business running incredibly well. Leads, oh, hold on, leads, marketing, I don't know what is going on with my pen, and systems. Okay. Now we're briefly going to go over all this and then we will dive in deeper on each of this, on a few of these sections. Okay. So under leads, you need to know how to generate leads. So pulling, how do I find who's interested in how do I find motivated sellers, not just sellers, but I'm having issues finding people that are ready to sell now. Yeah. Motivated sellers. So generating leads of that. Then you need to know how to lead nurture, follow them or follow up with them. I can't write and talk, but follow up with them and also be able to have a conversation with them. Who has a fear of talking to sellers, of cold calling, of really getting out there and like, engaging? What do I say? How do I say it? What if I mess up? Stuff like that, right? Yeah, really nervous about it. Lead nurturing. So how do you do it? What do you say? How do you follow up? I'm telling you right now, 80 to 90% of your deals are going to come from the follow-up. They're not going to come from the first call. Okay. So knowing that helps you. Then contracts. Who has a fear of contracts? I'm scared to fill out a contract. I don't know what to say. What if I don't have the right contingencies? What if I don't find a buyer? Right? We have those fears, all normal fears. Okay. So we talk about that. You need to know those 3. Then under marketing, it's how to brand yourself. I'm going to tell you right now, very rarely do people keep business cards anymore. What do they ask? How did you find out about me and Laura? Online, right? Hopefully you did a Google search, got to see that we were legit. If not, you went to our website or you found us on social media, right? You did some research. When people want to know more about you, what are they going to do? They're going to Google you. They're going to get to know you. How do you brand yourself? People know the logo. If I tell you to think of the Nike logo, what does that logo look like? Right? You know instantly. Branding yourself is so important. People will recognize you as you get bigger and bigger, especially in your areas. Okay. Next is KPI, key performance indicators. Measuring your results. This is incredibly important. Why is this important? You're going to have different types of lists using different types of skip tracing services. Skip tracing is the services you use to find the owner's information. You have different ways of reaching out. You need to be able to measure it all. You need to be able to put more money in the things that work and stop doing the things that don't work. I can't tell you how many times when people do not measure their KPI, they don't see what's going on. and that they're wasting time and money in places and things that don't work and tools that aren't working for them, right? And then making sure that no matter what you decide to do, it's scalable for your marketing. So once you have tested this small batch, we say about from 3 to 500 leads, and you find it works and you're getting deals and you find the great skip tracing and everything going, you're going to throw as much money into those lists that you can because they're going to scale. You can scale it and you feel confident scaling it. Moving into systems, your system is going to be dependent on your strategy. Now, because we are doing wholesaling, you are going to be building a system for wholesaling. This will look different for every single person. You guys have all different goals. Some of you only are like, hey, if I can supplement my income, do a deal a month, make the average of 10K, I'm good. But others are like, no, like I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a billionaire. I need to do 12 deals a month, right? This is where that comes in. Then you need to be able to automate it. Who wants to live a life of freedom? Who wants to travel? Or hell, they just don't want to go to work. They want to wake up when they want to wake up. They want to work when they want to work. They want to go do things. They don't want to build somebody else's dream. They want to keep all their money. They want to do that. I mean, you got to pay a little in taxes, hate to tell you, but you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, your money's yours. Your dreams are yours. Your time is yours. Three people. Three people want that? No one else? Okay, I see one hand raised. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Automation will do that. Automating your business is going to do that. And then last but not least, once you have all of this together, you're going to have a consistent model for acquisition and disposition. Acquisition is acquiring the properties, which is the first half of the transaction, and disposition is disposing, aka finding an end buyer. We will talk about this soon. I want you to keep this image in the forefront of your mind as we go through this workshop, okay? But as you do, I'm telling you right now, and I apologize for my handwriting. I don't do well when I'm trying to talk. But as we go through this, your goal is to master these parts of the business. This is a wholesaling business right here. Everything falls under this. Everything you're going to learn falls under this. Okay? So moving into right here. These are where we struggle. Laura, do you kind of want to jump in here?
Sure. Well, working with a lot of wholesalers over the years, I found there's some common denominators of people what they're struggling with. Number one is finding discounted leads, right? And I'm going to give you some really good way of finding leads today that nobody talks about. I haven't found anybody that said I've heard this before, so definitely pay attention. The second struggle is selling the property fast at a fair price, right? Because time is of the essence when you have a wholesaling deal. You have only 3 weeks to get this deal gone. Structuring the right deal or contract. Some of you here said, I'm worried about, writing a contract out there. Should I have an attorney? No, you don't have to have an attorney, as long as you put the right clauses. So, we have about 6 clauses. We use only 1 or 2 at a time, depending on the situation, but that's it. Our contract is only 2 pages long. And I don't use a contract, I don't use an attorney for anything. These clauses are enough to protect me. So Liz, go ahead.
Yep. So today, what are we doing? We're going to talk about because we have a lot of newbies on, which is totally good. We work with newbies. So what is wholesaling and how do you do it? Who does not know what wholesaling is? And then what works today, the 4 core sub-strategies. We're going to talk about the best markets for wholesaling. We're going to talk about how to find leads for properties. We're going to talk about how to find buyers. And then we're going to talk about building your system out so that you can have a successful business. So are we ready to get started? Yes? Okay. If you're ready, go ahead and throw that into the chat because we are going to get going. So what is wholesaling? I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible for you guys. So I'm going to deep dive and then I'll do a summary. So hang in here, stay on till the end. You will get the recording if this gets a little confusing. So we're going to start up here. Wholesaling is an A to B, B to C transaction. You are that middleman. So you are B in this scenario, okay? So you are going to go out and you are going to start talking to sellers. We're going to keep this real simple. You're going to talk to a seller. A seller says they want to sell. You go into a negotiations, okay? You guys agree, keeping it simple. I know very rare this goes for this anymore. Is 100K is what you're going to buy the house for. I'm going to buy the house for $100,000 after you negotiate. You guys accept the sales contract and you're going to take that sales contract and go put it with the title company. Yes, you have to put it with the title company and you need to tie it up with your EMD, your earnest money deposit. You can tie up a contract for as little as $1. I tie up mine for 10. Yes, $10. You just, in order for this to be a legal contract, you have to have some monetary consideration with the title company in escrow for like $10, okay? So I put that accepted sales contract with my seller, signed and sealed. I take it to the title company and put my EMD down, and they will hold it, okay? I have a 3-week contingency that I use in my contract. This 3 weeks gives me time to go turn around, and I am going to now become the seller. I am the owner per contract. You are not the owner of the property, but you are the owner per contract. So you go out there and you start marketing to your end buyer. You find your end buyer and you guys settle on a price of 120K, keeping it simple. So then you guys go into contract together, back to the title company, 120K. Okay. Then the title company will order title, will remove contingencies. And I'm sorry, the logo's in the way. I can't remove it. And then you guys will go to closing. Yay, money. At closing, you are going to do 2 things. You could either double close or assign. And we will talk about the difference here in a bit. But in this case, we're going to double close. And what we're going to do is we're going to close with our seller and we are going to close with our buyer. It is very important that your title company knows what you are doing, because at closing, what they're going to do is they are going to take the 120 from the buyer. The buyer gets the property. The seller walks away with the 100K that was agreed upon, and you get the 20K profit in the middle. Okay, that is a wholesaling deal. Now let's go over this really quickly to kind of summarize. You meet with a seller, and you go into a negotiation of contract for 100K. You take that accepted sales contract with your EMD down to the title company. They hold it. Now you are an owner per contract. You flip it around. You have a 3-week contingency. In my case, that's the one I use. Go out there. You find an end buyer. You and the end buyer agree on a price of 120K. You guys go into a sales contract of 120K. You take that contract there. The buyer will put their earnest money with the title company. And now you guys will order title, remove contingencies, and head to closing. At closing, you will double close or assign, and you will have the end buyer will walk away with the property. The seller walks away with their 100K, and you get that 20K profit in the middle. Make sense? Now, what's the difference between double closing and assignment? The difference is one, you actually close with both the seller and the buyer. The other time, it's just a piece of paper, literally saying, I'm giving my rights to this contract to this buyer for a fee. But here's the thing, the buyer sees that fee. So if it's over like $8,000, I will double close so I do not have to negotiate with the seller or with the buyer my fee. Because think about it. I have seen people, one of my coaches, make $112,000 on one deal. If the buyer found out that they were paying you $112,000 wholesaling fee, do you not think they're going to negotiate that down a bit? Oh, heck yeah, if you're a smart investor, you will. And so making sure that you understand that if it's that, assigning is just a piece of paper where you state with the buyer, hey, I'm going to give the buyer my rights to this property at closing, and they're going to take over the contract, and it's going to be for 5K. They're going to pay me a 5K assignment fee, right? So I've seen people assign as much as $50,000 to $100,000. I am not that great of a negotiator, so I'm going to stick to double closing if it's over 8K. And the average wholesaling deal is $10,000. So you can see we're average. I'm just going to double close and save that. All right. So what works today? I'll talk about two, and then I'm going to let Laura talk about two. We already talked about the double closing. This is if you have a massive profit where you don't want your buyers or your sellers to see what you're making, right? And so you can double close, and that means you're closing with both parties. Assignment means that you are assigning the contract to the end buyer. They're going to take over the contract, and they're going to pay you a fee for that contract. So they do see your fee. Laura, do you want to talk about novations and co-wholesaling?
Sure. How many of you have heard of what novations are? Okay. So novation basically I want you to think it of this way. Assignment, you work with assigning the contract to an end buyer, right? So you have a buyer, you do assignment of contract, the buyer will pay you a fee to take over your contract. Where novation, you actually partner with the seller. So you basically have the other side of it. So you actually go into a partnership with the seller to sell the property. So this is a very cool strategy when you come across property that the seller pretty much wants to close to market, is not budging. There is no money as a wholesaler, there's not enough spread. But then you can go into innovation, which has a partnership. Very, very cool strategy. And you won't believe, how much money you can make on these strategies. Actually, you make more than doing a double closing. Okay, there is a mechanics to it that it gets into it. But think of it as a partnership with the seller. And then we have co-wholesaling, which is also joint ventures with other wholesalers. So it's very, especially in the beginning, is when you get out there and maybe you're good at finding properties, but you don't have enough buyers, or you're good at buyers, but you don't have properties, you can partner with another wholesaler. Usually Elizabeth share the story. She didn't have time to do that today, but I had a student about 10 years ago in Atlanta when I was used to coach men and women. And he didn't have the time to really go look for property, but he was very good at, he built a social media following.
So
And
he made me work, is what she's saying. 90 plus properties was I finding buyers for a month. A month. So that's how I actually started in real estate, was because of him. I had no interest in real estate. And he was like, "Hey, I know I was Laura's assistant at the time. He's like, I know you have a degree in internet marketing. I have 2 different degrees, so just ignore that." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Will you help me find buyers, and I'll pay you to help me find buyers?" And so I went out there, and he had 90 plus properties he was trying to find buyers for that other wholesalers brought to him looking for buyers. That is called co-wholesaling.
Yeah, he didn't sell all of them. He pretty much he marketed, and then whatever, he would throw stuff out there, whatever hit the wall and stick, obviously he would make 50%. So his forte was the social media following, and then Liz was marketing for him. So that's another cool strategy you can do with co-wholesaling, or JV, joint ventures, right? But for me, JV could be a lot of different things. You can do joint venture for wholesaling, you can do joint ventures when it comes to money. You can do joint ventures with the sellers like Novation. So there is a lot of things you can call JV.
Yep.
Okay, next.
Okay. So moving into the best markets and why. This is the #1 most important step of your entire wholesaling career. I cannot emphasize this enough. I have seen people waste years trying to wholesale in markets that are not good for wholesaling and wondering why they can't be successful. And then just by a little tweak in their systems of moving it to even just the outskirts of the area they were in, they would start doing deals instantly. Within weeks, deals were going to closing. So knowing your market, here's the thing. You may not invest where you are. And even if you are, you can still do this virtual, by the way. But you may not invest where you are. You may decide to step out. For example, you may live in New York City. New York City has made it, just the city, has made it impossible for you to wholesale, like very well. So just stepping outside of New York City, going a little north or going to New Jersey and things like that. So I want you to talk about, Laura, do you want to talk a little bit about what markets you recommend or what type of markets to look for?
Okay. I want to give you some quick rule of thumbs here, and then we can definitely do a deeper. We can have a whole session on this. But start thinking in areas. I always say you have to have enough populations to have inventory, supply, and demand. But don't be afraid to go out of the metropolitan areas, right? So maybe go into areas that I would say 80 to 100,000 population or more. But in those areas, a little more under the radar than areas like Miami or San Francisco, right? Big cities that attract a lot of people. And the other thing, you want to do some research. You want to look at the cash sales. You want to be at 20% or more cash sales for the area. Now, if you are closer to a metropolitan area, obviously you have different pockets, right? So just don't think of Atlanta, just think of different pockets in the suburbs of Atlanta, especially older neighborhoods. And then there are a lot of research and data you can get online. One of the authorities in giving you good data is the NAR website. NAR.Realtor, which is the National Association of Realtors, and they really dive deep into statistics, national averages, how different areas compare to national averages. So, there is a lot of work that has to go in research, in my opinion, to really define the area that's better for wholesaling. And I think a lot of people assume it's because I live here, I should wholesale here. But the thing is about, remember, you're not selling the property, you're selling the contract, right? At the end of the day, you're just going to put the property on the contract and put it out there. You're going to sell as is. The end buyer is going to determine what he's looking for. So you're not really buying a property per se. So once you understand that, you can go out there and write contracts all over the country with sight unseen, because you're really just selling contracts. But it goes about, focus on one area first and start with the area that makes most sense based on some of the criteria I just gave you.
Great. So now what we're going to do is we are going to head into leads. Who wants to know how to find motivated seller leads? Into the chat. Who is like, I need to know this now? Who has struggled finding motivated seller leads? Yeah. All right, well, let's get going. So what we're going to do here is I am very curious. I'm going to let Laura, while Laura's explaining what is a quick win and a long nurture, Laura, start with quick wins, then let's have them start putting it into the chat after, and then you can explain long nurture.
Okay, so I came up with this concept. Like I said, I'm the only one I've seen out there really coming with this distinction. And honestly, I did this because working with students, one of the things about wholesaling, they really want to get some deals fast. And so I went back into my own experience and say, how did I get deals fast? Remember in 95, when I decided to shift, I went into deal fast. The other thing is, honestly, I just wanted the low-hanging fruit. So the quick wins is properties that you don't have to really do a lot of negotiations or follow-ups, or really, dig deep to find who the owner is and maybe wants to sell, maybe now you have to follow up, you have to do all this back and forth, right? Quick wins is exactly that. The owner is really ready to sell. They're already pretty much selling. You just have to maybe negotiate them down on the price a little bit. The long nurture is more about properties that, will require some type of nurturing. You don't know, they're not even sure if they want to sell yet. And even if they're going through a distress situation, a lot of people check out and they don't think, yeah, I'm going to sell this property, right? So that's a long nurture. That's something that you need to go. So with this distinction, I want you guys put in the chat. First of all, let's talk about the quick wins. Which one you think are quick wins based on what I just told you?
And if you've done this exercise, you are not allowed to participate.
So you see the students.
But there's a reason I want to see. So what are quick wins for you?
Yeah.
What are quick wins?
A couple
What do
of
you think? What leads do you think are quick wins? Nobody? Okay, let's start. All right. Recent death. So probates, basically. Laura, I'm going to read. You're going to tell me.
Okay. Probate.
And you're going to tell them
Think
why.
about it, guys. Probate, it is a longer process. You have to follow up. Can you close a deal that's in probate in the next 2-3 weeks? Most likely not. So that's a long nurture.
Foreclosure.
Long nurture, because again, just because it's in foreclosure, a lot of people, they haven't thought about selling. They just checked out. They just want to let it go to foreclosure. or they say, you know, I'm going to try to rescue a foreclosure. I'm winning the lottery and I'm going to come up with the money, right? So,
Or I'm waiting on that insurance check that I've been waiting on for 5 years for.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to come.
So that's a long nurture. You have to talk to them.
Vacant properties.
Long nurture. Just because they're vacant doesn't mean they want to sell or they think about selling. You know, I came across a vacant property. This guy owned this vacant property for 16 years. It's been vacant since his mom passed away. And he's like, why are you still keeping this property? It's, you know, it has crack in the driveway. And he said, well, I want to keep it for my son. And I was like, don't you think your son wants money more than a property has to, you know? And he took back, and long story short, I ended up getting that property because
Yep.
but that's a long nurture, right?
Tax delinquent.
Long nurture. Again, goes back to foreclosure. People think it's like, okay, I come up with the money. I'm going to borrow it. Or maybe you have the money to give me so I can pay my taxes. You know, so it's a long nurture. You have to have a conversation, and it might take a while.
Okay, properties on the MLS.
Hey, finally, MLS strategy, I call it. There is yes, you can wholesale properties around the MLS. You have to do it a certain way. Actually, I'll tell you one big thing. When I started wholesaling in bulk in 95, I started with MLS properties. It was low hanging fruit, and it worked.
Divorce.
Okay. That's a long nurture. Maybe one of the spouses wants to sell, the other one doesn't, right? Or they haven't got around to that. So that's a long nurture.
Bankruptcy.
Long nurture, right? You have to deal, there is a way to deal with bankruptcy property. Actually, is in the training that I have. Is it depends on where it is in the bankruptcy property. You know, you have to go through the trustee. If there is no equity in the property, actually you can get a trustee's deed. It's a very clever strategy, but takes a while to develop.
Tired landlords.
Long nurture, because you don't know if they really want to sell yet, right? You know, they might, just because they're tired doesn't mean they don't want the property, or maybe again, you know, they have other plans. So you have to have a conversation.
For sale by owner.
Finally, quick win, right? They want to sell. They want to sell. And I know a lot of you think, yeah, well, you know, they want to sell, but probably they want to close to market. I cannot do this. Do innovation. We had a student a couple of months ago, she did innovation and made $38,000 on a deal close to market.
Okay, so just because of thing, but I want you to notice something before we give you some of ours. You have been taught that if you wanted to make it big in wholesaling quickly, these are the ways to go, right? Because you all thought these were quick wins. There is so much wrong information getting taught out there. And for those of you that are really struggling and need to make money quickly, you're struggling and they're teaching you that these are the ways to do it fast. We do this exercise to show you how powerful it is to have the correct mentors to learn from. Because this is so common, and people come to us and they say, I've pulled thousands of lists. Like someone said, I've been contacting vacant properties with no help, no wins here. So we're going to give you a few other ones that you can do. Yeah, paid 50K, taught long nurture garbage. Exactly. And there is nothing wrong with these. We love these. Okay, we love these over here. But they're good for later in the pipeline. They're good for maybe you start in month 1 or 2 after you get a few quick wins, because they come later in the pipeline. But overall, the quick wins is where you need to go.
Can I add one quick thing here? Long nurture, by the way, is very good, guys. I'm not discarding long nurture. It's good to put them in a system, okay? When you get to the point that you want to have a system with virtual assistants using different type of tools, and that can be automated, long nurture is perfect for that. And it can feed you deals consistently. Quick wins, it involves more proactive, you be proactive about you getting out there and do it. But at the same token, how many of you want to make money in the next 4 weeks here?
Yeah, we don't got
I don't know
time
about
for
you,
that
but
right
you
now.
know, a lot of us have, you know, holiday bills or things to do, places to go, cruises to put a deposit on. So that's why you want a quick win. Now, so let's share a couple other ones I didn't share with him.
Yeah. But we don't have time to
Okay.
be broke anymore. We don't have time. We got things to do today. So we're going to go after quick wins. So let me teach you a few quick wins. I know Laura was about to share one.
Test them. Ask him what was the strategy you did with the guy in Atlanta.
Yeah. So what was the strategy that got me into real estate? Yeah, I don't have time to stay at rock bottom. Exactly. We don't have time for that. Right? What was it? JV, partnership. Yeah. So co-wholesaling. Let's talk about this. We have a lot of our students that team up together because one is really good with meeting with sellers and talking to sellers and being on the phone. And then the others, like the Liz, like Laura is the one that likes to talk to people. I could do without. So I like the back end. I love buyers. Like that was the perfect thing to get me to start on because I could find a buyer for any property. And so I like buyers. So co-wholesaling, build a good buyers list and approach wholesalers that are trying to offload and see if they're willing to sell to you. Say, hey, I have a buyer. They'll pay, right? And I take a percentage of the profit. You can do that. Wholesaling's a good one. Laura, what's another one that you wanted to share?
Well, I'm surprised nobody mentioned here the driving for dollars. Now, driving for dollars can be both long nurture and quick win. The best thing for guys, you go out in the field, you go in the field and look. You're going to come across for sale by owner. You're going to come across for rent. You're going to come across property for sale, especially the one by small real estate companies you never even heard of. You're going to talk to people taking their garbage out. Okay. True story. I was with a student in Bakersfield, California, and I spent a day with her. And we went to drive around. And at one point, there was this vacant property. As I stopped, we started walking around this property. Somebody came across the street hauling their garbage because they wanted to see what we were doing. We started a conversation, found out that these people passed away. Their son lived next door, but he moved out of state. We ended up putting 2 properties on the contract right there and then that day because she was able to get hold of the son. So going out in the field and talking to people, that's a big one. So driving for dollars can actually go on both sides. And get out there in the field, talk to people. That's the quickest way to get something going too.
The other thing is I will say is it hasn't been mentioned. Where do you go if you need to get a property same day? Think about it. Where do you go? Because you need, yes, auctions. Think about it here. You can also, I'm about to give you a little golden nugget here. You find buyers here. Why? Because they have the cash. They have to pay in full that day. They have to pay. So you walk in, if it's still like in St. Louis, it's still on the courthouse steps. You walk in and ding, ding, ding. Properties are being sold. People are paying cash. You walk up to them. You bring your flyers for properties as well. Or you say, hey, I'm an investor in the area. I'm coming across properties like this all the time. You get their information. Ding, ding, ding. You have it right then and there. You have cash buyers in your pocket. Okay. Moving in. Let's go to marketing. So speaking of cash buyers, we're going to do the same thing here. There are different types. There's the JVs, cash buyers you get where you actually work with them to sell the property. And then you have the legit cash buyers. What's the difference? Huh? What's the difference? Let's start talking about it. So if we're looking for pure cash buyers, where are you going to go? A lot of you are probably like, well, hell, Liz, that's why I'm here. I'm trying to find out from you. But for those of you that maybe have worked with a few cash buyers, where do you go? Yep, Facebook. Now, Facebook can go under both. Why? Because a lot of wholesalers are on Facebook. Okay, they will contact you as well. So this could go under both. Yep, auction. Title companies, that's a JV. That's where you have to work with someone else. You probably will have to pay them to provide a buyer. Meetups can be kind of both because a lot of meetups also have buyers. RIAs, kind of both, or have wholesalers because they have cash buyers. People go to these RIA meetings, these real estate investing meetings, bringing flyers all the time. Like we would host real estate investing meetings, they would bring it. And people would also come that were buyers because they knew wholesalers were in the room, right? What else? Where else?
They are missing the most
I
important.
know. I was hoping someone would mention it. Laura, go ahead.
Look for people that bought properties for cash in the area where you're looking for properties, right? You might not know this, but you can get that from the MLS. When a listings close, the agent has to mark what type of financing was used for that property. And it's conventional FHA or cash, right? So they're gonna mark it. So you can run a list of property that's sold with a filter for cash.
And yes, you will find landlords. You will see people listed multiple times where there are landlords that might be interested in buying. This is the number one way. Yeah, you see signs, bandit signs. Those are probably other wholesalers. Make sense? Now I'm going to tell you a way that I didn't see mentioned. Craigslist. We have people that scour Craigslist for deals all the time. Now you will get other investors, you will get scammers, stuff like that. So you got to be really careful. But good old Craigslist, people scour that. Facebook Marketplace, people scour that. The Facebook groups, like we hire people to go into the groups and look for what deals are going on, right? So these are all good ones. So you have some lists here, but the number one foolproof way to know they are a legit cash buyer is you have to pull the list and reach out to people that have already bought in that area. You will get it sold because you will see that these people are buying. You will see what they're buying. You will see it's close to your property. They're interested, stuff like that. Okay. All right. Moving into systems. So let's talk about the 10 steps to wholesaling. Anyone remember what I said? The number one, you can look at the icons for a clue. What's the number one thing you should do if you're getting into wholesaling? Do we remember? Location, yes. So choosing your area is the number one thing you do first. Then what would you do? Once you've chosen the area. Any
Well, we
idea?
didn't say this, so we
I
can't.
know, but I want to see if anyone can pull it off the icon.
That's
Nope.
the thing. The icon, guys, is gonna give you a clue.
Yep, I told him that. Let's see. Okay, it's okay. Then you're going to open up your business entity. Why do you do that second? What if you decide, like me, that you are going to build your business out in a different state, in my case, Missouri? My Florida LLC is not going to do anything for that. So first, once you choose the area and you've ran your numbers, you know it's a good one, then you're going to build your business entity. You're going to open up for the state that you have chosen. Okay? Third, you're going to pull a list of buyers. Why? Because you want to see what are the buyers doing? What are they looking for? What are they paying? What type of properties? Because I can tell you right now, I have come across properties that weren't meant for that neighborhood and they were hell to sell. They were so hard because people weren't buying that. I was in a multi-family neighborhood trying to sell a single family. So you want to see, one, it will confirm that you picked a good area because buyers are buying. They're paying cash and you know what they're looking for. Laura, you want to go do 4?
Yeah. So 4 is now you start pulling lists, right? It looks like we were told that it looks like a bunch of people in a hot tub, but no, this is where you're going to start pulling lists of potential leads, right? And even if you do MLS strategy or you do for sale by owner or stuff like that, you know, you want to work with a certain amount of leads. Number 5, you start marketing to these leads, right? You can come in with calling, texting, direct marketing, all kinds of things. You know, depending on the list, we use different strategy, and also depending on the area. Some area more responsive to others, right? Depending on your demographics. So that varies. You know, there's not a lot of time I see that people use kind of a cookie cutter approach. It doesn't work that way. You spend a lot of money with little results if you do it that way. Number 6, you write the contract. You want to get the property under contract. You're not, remember, you become an owner per contract. You're not allowed to do anything with this property until you get under contract, number one. Number two, you want to make sure you put the contract so people don't start going around you. Okay.
Yep. Then after you put it under contract and you've like entered the negotiations in your contract with the seller, then you are going to do your due diligence. Yes, you do it after. Why? Time is of the essence when you are in a wholesale deal. And the time it takes you to gather pictures, decide if it's worth it and stuff like that, another wholesaler is going to come in, take quicker action and get it done and get it under contract. So I put it under contract. I talk to the seller at length on their property. Then I will go and do due diligence. Here's the thing. Pictures are important, but having your own person, company go out and take pictures. Why? Because it matters, right? It matters to have your own pictures because the seller is going to tell you that all this stuff is updated and everything is wonderful and all of that. And then you're going to turn around and find out that it's not possible and that they have a hole in the wall and things like that that they didn't see and cracks in the foundation and stuff that they claim they didn't see, right? Or they didn't know was there. So having unbiased opinions, because then you have contingencies to go back and renegotiate if you need to, or back out of the deal if they're not willing to come down. Okay, so we have the due diligence. Then you need to get your boots on the ground, start marketing to buyers. Okay. Now you may show the property, things like that, but reaching out to buyers, start marketing. You've got pictures, things like that. I will talk more on this in a minute. Then you will go under contract with your buyer. Woohoo! What do you think is number 10? What do you think is number 10? We gonna go make money. So you are going to go, if I can spell it right, to closing. You are gonna start making money. Exactly. Does this make sense? These are the steps.
And I want to highlight number 9. But the reason that there is a little dollar sign there is that if you do it right, you time it where the end buyer brings the money, if you do a double closing, or if you do an assignment or renovation, okay, the money doesn't come from you. So in any case, any way you're doing it, you shouldn't come up with your own money, even if you, and that's why it goes back to really working with a title company that understands how to do this and structure it so you don't have to use your own money. There is such a thing called transactional funding for wholesaling, but that's going to cost you money to your profits. So always try to do it without using transactional funding.
Yep. And you can, in a lot of states, you can close using the end buyer's funds. So you never actually use money at all of your own or transactional funding or things like that. They will close with the buyer first and then go use that money to fund the deal with the seller. So a lot of states do that as well. Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to briefly go over this because this is very overwhelming for my newbies. I've learned this through many years of presenting this. So the one thing I'm going to say about this though, is do not compare your beginning to my middle. This took me 3 years to build, 2 to 3 years of trial and error and headaches and tears and all of this. This is how I built my virtual business step by step. Now, this took time, okay? What I'm teaching you in the next couple of minutes took me a lot of time. And that's the beauty of having coaches is we help you streamline so that it takes you way less time than it took us. So I did the first deal myself. And then because why would I do it myself? I needed to know the ins and outs of the business. I needed to know how to talk to people. I needed to know how to run deals on my own. I needed to do all of that. Well, I'm incredibly quick. I have literally 4 monitors in front of me right now. I can do 4 full-time jobs in a 40-hour work week. One person's 40-hour work week, I can do 4 other jobs. Okay, so when I say I'm fast, I'm fast. And in the beginning of doing real estate, they didn't have all these cool tools like PropStream and batch leads where you can pull list in Max and skip trace in seconds, okay? It took me 10 hours to do 100 leads. And I was like, I will never do this again. And I am fast. So I can't imagine for someone that's not so tech savvy. So I hired a VA out of my very first deal. I hired them out of the Philippines. She is amazing. She'll pull the list. She'll organize the list. She'll skip trace it. She will put the list in my CRM, which is my customer relationship management tool. She organizes my tools. She does all of that, right? I focus on money making things. So she does everything else that takes too much time and is not worth my time, right? And one thing you will learn as an entrepreneur is your time is money. Okay. And you will start delegating a lot of things out and doing things that can make you more money. Few deals later, I don't know about you, I am a millennial to the core. I do not like being on the phone. Okay. I just don't. If you can text it, I will be very happy. Okay. So I am somebody that does not like to be on the phone. And for those of you that have fear of cold calling, what do you think is going to, and what's going to like really hinder your success? You don't want to make the calls, and you can't do deals unless you talk to a seller. So one of the things you want to do almost immediately, if you can, is outbound, hire a caller. They can call the first and second rounds and send you the warm leads once they know they want to sell. They can text, they can follow up, they can deal with all the no's, they can deal with all the hangups and the rude responses and, whatever comes along with doing that initial call. Let them handle it. You go out there and make money, right? You talk to the sellers that are interested in selling. Okay. Social media marketing. So after I've done that, so now look at how much of the business is gone, right? You're seeing how I get down to 2 to 3 hours a week on real estate closing 6+ deals. Okay. Then you hire somebody. This is one person's job. It can be that can do the social media marketing. They can network, they could connect, they could find buyers, they could promote your properties for you to the buyers. They can talk to your buyers, they can engage with it. They can get things sold for you without you having to do any of it. I have a 10-step foolproof way of finding a buyer for any property in 3 weeks or less, which is your contingency. They can do those 10 steps because it's a brutal process to do it by yourself. Then you have, how do I make this completely virtual? You have remote partners. And I have to make this clear because I didn't do this and somebody literally got upset with me. You have to pay these people. And she told me I did not know I had to pay people to have a virtual business. Ladies, you have to pay anyone that works for you. Okay, that's just like kind of a given. No one wants to do things for free. So they are going to go take photos for you. I talked a little about this on the last slide. Why is this so important? Your sellers are not going to show the things that are wrong. They're going to send you the nice stuff. So getting somebody that is unbiased to walk in and take pictures of everything. I mean, my people take anywhere from 120 to 160 photos of each property. So I see everything, the systems. I don't make them get on the roof, but they'll zoom in and do the roof. They'll do things like that. They'll take pictures of the foundation, all of that. Okay, so they can do that. They can take videos. This is how you get things to be bought sight unseen. If you have really good pictures and videos, like they're getting a virtual tour, you will have less and less showings. But you may need somebody to do showings. So showing properties, you want someone there. It's not going to be you, right? So you're doing this virtual, or this is not even where you are. You can pick a family member, an agent, a friend, your sister, things like that to do it for you in the beginning. So they can go and show properties for you. You never want your buyer to go around the house with your seller there and nobody else is there. It takes 10 seconds for a buyer to go around you. Okay. Then it's signing contracts with buyers and sellers. I live in Cape Coral. Anyone that knows Southwest Florida, this is like retiree capital of the world. Did not know that before I moved in. Learned it very fast. I have a very quiet neighborhood. And they don't all know how to use DocuSign and DocHub. Make it easy for them to say yes. Have somebody run a contract over if they seem like they can't figure it out. The other one is for rentals and fix and flips, so we're not going to jump into that. But having a boots on the ground is going to save you a lot of headache there. Now, moving into the different teams, you're going to have the acquisition team. These are the people acquiring. This is for when you guys are ready for it. I'm showing you where you can go. You're going to have an acquisition team. These are acquiring properties. Disposition team, they're disposing of, finding your end buyer. And when you're doing like as many deals as I am at any given time, you're going to have a transaction coordinator, somebody that keeps track of where the transaction is and the process at any given time. So nobody like gets the ball dropped or anything like that. Now I'm telling you, you will build to this. This is going to seem very overwhelming to those of you that are new to be like, holy crap, I have to get all these people. You build. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took time. It took hiring. It took understanding. It took growth. But before you know it, you are going to look back and you are going to have a full-fledged wholesaling business. You are going to have people working under you. You are going to be traveling. You are going to be living the life you want to live and only doing the things you want to do. Now, every once in a while, you got to jump in and do the things you don't want to do. I'm not like sugarcoating this and saying this is like the most beautiful thing you'll ever experience. Okay. Like it's still a business, but I have never seen a business where you can make as much money and work as little as you do. I work 2 to 3 hours a week. Laura, I don't know what she works, but I work 2 to 3 hours a week on my business. I closed 6+ deals. In November, I closed 12. 12 deals, 2 hours a week. There are a couple of states you do have to be licensed. There is Oklahoma. There is Illinois. Nebraska and Kentucky are coming up. And in Philadelphia, you have to like purchase a license to wholesale, like you're purchasing a fishing license. You do have to purchase. You want to know how to get around this? Go wholesale somewhere else and do it virtual. Do a different state if you don't want to get licensed. Okay? I have never once seen a property. This is how I've done it. I have never seen a property. I have never been on location and stuff like that. Laura, anything you want to add in?
No, I think that, first of all, let me ask everybody here, how did you like the information? Was this a lot of information? Probably the most you ever got in 45 minutes. Great. Okay. So
I threw a
now,
lot.
yeah. Now, what we want to do is the way we want to present this is we want to show you how we can help you to really get this going. And so there is a lot of training. We're not a pitch fest, okay? We don't believe in doing that. We believe in teaching. We believe in empowering. We believe in giving you informed knowledge so that you can make a decision.
And we're going to open up for Q&A and teach during this. So those of you that say you have to go, you're going to miss important stuff if you get off right now. Just letting you know that.
Right. So
Okay.
let's we get started because first of all, we need to work on setting goals. And then I'm going to show you how you're going to reverse engineer to make whatever you want every month. I'm going to show you how I use that formula.
All right. So let's get into this. So there are a few, hold on a second. There we go. Why are you guys here tonight? Let's really dive deep into this. Why are you here tonight? Why'd you show up? Why'd you show up? To get educated, financial freedom. Yeah. I want to come back home. Yep, learn details. So you got here to learn. You're here to learn. You came to learn. You learned how to make money. You want to know how to do that, preferably as soon as possible. And let's be real, 10K in the next like 1 to 2 months would be nice, right? Even just your first 10K. Okay. That's not really why you're here though. That's not why you're here. Let's dive deeper than that. You're looking for financial freedom, right? Tell me if I'm wrong at any point. You want to leave your job, so you want your freedom from your job. Oh, can't type and talk. Right? But that's not why you're here either. Let's dive deeper as to why you're here. You are here for what real estate and the money from real estate can do for you. It can free up your time. You be able to travel if that's what you want to do. You can leave your job. You don't have to build someone else's time. You don't have to build their dream and make them lots of money. You can be there for your family or for generational wealth, making sure that you know. But the biggest thing here, it all comes to what? I cannot type and write at the same time, or write and talk. Live in life on your own terms. Whatever that looks like for you is why you're here tonight. You're not here to get into real estate and learn just real estate. You're here to gain financial freedom to do whatever you want to do. Because when you decided that you were going to get into real estate or you needed a way to make money, real estate popped up in your head, right? And that's, we talk about, it's like the lottery ticket that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, hands to you, right? They hand it to you. That you said you wanted to get in. I need money. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of struggling, right? So this is it. This is why you're here. It's not just to learn real estate. It's how the heck do I get from where I am to where Laura and Liz are, where I can sleep as much as I want and I do not have to deal with these bosses that tell me I only get 2 weeks a year to take a vacation and I'm only allowed to be sick twice every 6 months for 2 days and then I don't get paid, right? So we're going to talk about goals right now. So we are going to talk about, you guys are going to write this out with me. Ready? Today and 1 year from now. Okay. So today is the 23rd of January. So where do we want to be at the end of January of next year? Okay. By the way, it freaks me out that I'm writing 2025 in a year. I don't know why that seems like a big jump. Okay. But here we are. So let's talk ideal. Into the chat. How much do you want to make on a monthly basis that you can wrap your head around in 1 year? How much do you want to make?
And yeah, on a monthly basis. And let me say, wrap your head around what do you mean by that? Something that is believable to you, because whatever number that is, you have to believe it, right? Is your new standard, is that one that you have to be comfortable with and know you can achieve it. And then you push to the next number.
Yep. All right. So let's pick a random number. I'm seeing 20K.
20,000. I like
Yep.
20.
Oh, well, we picked the same one. So
Okay.
the average wholesaling deal, if you want to make 20K, the average wholesaling deal is 10K. How many deals a month is that?
Remember what we said you
Yep.
make? There you go. Yeah.
So do you think in 1 year, knowing how to do real estate, knowing you have your systems in place, getting the help you need, and understanding that, do you think 2 deals a month is realistic? Do you think you could do it? Yeah. Okay, let's pick another one. Let's say I saw someone that said they want to make 42K. So we're going to say 40K. How many deals is that on a monthly basis in 1 year? Yeah. Now, this is right. Depends on the price. I have made 40K on one deal. You just made your monthly income. But you're not going to say no when the other 5 deals come in, right? That would be dumb. So you make more. And I've made as little as 2K on a deal. Okay. Our average student is making 30K a deal. Average, it making 30K, one deal. I have another lady who made $74,000 on one deal. She said, I made what people make as a yearly salary in one deal. The average I'm seeing right now is anywhere from 20 to 30K. I would say about 30 is what I've seen with students. What I've seen personally, I'm a little more at negotiation. It's anywhere from 20 to 40K, depending on the deal. Doesn't matter markets. Obviously, if you go into a low income neighborhood, it's smaller, but like California, that's where I saw a 110K deal being done by our coach last year. So we have that. And then the other thing is, why do you want to do it? You really have to know, what is the bottom line here? What are you trying to gain? Because just saying I'm going to make 10K, that's not going to do anything for you. Okay. But what is 10K going to do for me? If I make 10K consistently or 20K, I can retire. If you're married, you can retire your husband. You can send your kids to whatever college they want to go to. You don't have to worry about how the next bill is going to be paid, or what if my car decides to get a flat or decide to break and I don't know what to do because I don't have anything to fall back on. You don't have to worry about like Laura has 4 kids. We are competitive ballerinas growing up. My brother was in like 500 different sports. She didn't miss anything of ours. She didn't have to because she had to work. She got to be there. I get to do that too. So I really want you to understand, what can this do? Because that's going to drive you. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time here. Oh, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one because I don't believe in focusing on negative, but we do need to know, what if nothing happens? What is your worst case scenario in a year if you decide not to do anything? What happens for you? Some of you might be like, well, I'd be okay. I'd be okay. But what happens? Yeah, you're still at the same job. I'm the same me. I will feel depleted. I'm tired. I'm stuck and I'm tired. I have to start going back to a 9 to 5. You will repeat the same year. You remain stagnant. You will stay stuck. So we have two lines here. We have the green and we have the red. We're not going to stay focusing on the red, but we are going to talk a little bit about this. How long are you going to wait to get to this line? Because right now, you guys feel like you're this far away from the green line. But I'm going to be real here. I talked about this at the retreat. You are the closest you are ever going to be to your ideal vision for yourself right now. But how long are you going to wait to say yes? How long are you going to let another year pass by where you thought about getting into real estate? This is just an honest question. Because I can tell you right now, I've had so many people that said, I've waited so long. I have dreamt about this forever. Or they got fired and then they didn't even have the money to be able to get into it. They didn't know what to do. They realize they're just a number at their corporate job because they can let you go. That's a safe sense of security there. The one thing I know is I'm in charge of my future. I will always know how to make money. I will never be broke again. I will never starve again. I will never worry about my bills. But you have to decide that you are no longer going to head this direction or just stay stagnant. You're going to start going after your dreams. But how bad do you want it? Into the chat, how bad do you want it? And you're like, that's a cute idea, but I really don't want to make 40K a month in a year. Like it's nice. Exactly. Flipping bad. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So we're going to move on from this. I don't like to focus on the negatives. I just wanted you to kind of be there to see what's going on. So we remember this, right? We're going to grade ourselves now. So if you understand, have done it, and you get it to a T, you can master it, you can teach it like Liz and Laura, you're going to grade yourself green in some of these areas. If you've tried it, maybe you've done a deal or two, you're going to do yellow. Like, I understand, but it could be better. And then this is like, I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. You're going to grade yourself red. Now, if you're brand new, I expect you to be all red, like the whole thing, because you haven't done anything to master it yet. If you've done a deal or two, I expect you to have some yellows, right? But while we're doing that and you're grading yourself and you're telling me, what happens when you combine leads, marketing, and systems, and you have consistent closing? 3 things will happen. You will get your freedom of time. Time to sleep as much as you want, as someone said. Time to be there for your family. Time to hang out. Time to just be and do what you want. We have one life, ladies, one life. All right? You will also have meaning to your life. I'm not saying you don't now, but there's a different level of success when you're financially free. There's a different level of meaning. You're going to start giving back. You're going to start teaching other women like Laura and I have. You're going to start teaching your children or your friends or your family how to no longer struggle. And then last but not least is the freedom. When you have all 3 of these, you are going to be free. There's no way, if you're all green, that you are not going to have consistent closings coming in because you have a system in place. It's running. Deals are coming in consistently, right? There's 3 things. Laura, you want to add anything here?
No.
She's sitting over there looking like a proud mom. It always makes me fun. I always watch her when I talk about this.
You got it.
Smiling.
You got it.
So here's the thing though, ladies. Right now, you may be all red, okay? And that's okay. we were all reds or yellows in the beginning. My goal as co-founder of REIW is to get you to all greens within 1 year. Within 1 year, making the 40K isn't going to seem that hard. It's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be that scary or far-fetched. I'm not telling you some pipe dream here. It does take work. Okay? It does take overcoming fears and mental boundaries and really confidence in yourself. And I'll help you with that. I will help you. I have a call every Tuesday where I literally have a mindset call to help you. But you have to be able to take the leap to that green line. And what this does is, the reason I have you fill this out now is because within a year, every 3 months or so, you're going to revisit this. And before you know it, that red is going to be yellow. And then in 6 months, more is going to be yellow and some are going to be green. And then before you know it, within a year, you're going to go into the Facebook group and you're going to be like, holy shit, Liz, I'm all green. I'm sorry, I cuss. So, I'm trying to be better this year, but sometimes you need a good cuss word in a sentence. This is one of those times because you are going to come to me and you are going to be like, I'm all green. Yeah, it flavors the sentence, gives it a little sprinkle, a little sparkle there. Yeah, but that's it. A razzle dazzle. Yes, there you go. Yep. So this is my goal for you. I'm not one of those coaches and mentors, Laura and I, that are just going to tell you this is possible and then do nothing to make it possible for you. I mean, we showed you just on the quick wins how wrong you've been taught and why you're wondering why it's not freaking working for you, right? So let's talk about how this is going to look. Laura, I'm going to let you do the first two because I cannot write and talk tonight. So I'm going to let you do the first two because I'm going to lose my mind if I keep trying. And then I'll do the last one.
Well, first of all, how many of you would like to know how this is actually works?
That would be a good idea.
Okay, so type in the chat because, like I said, I believe this being a partnership. We're not here sitting on this side of the fence and you're over there, right? We are implementing with you to make you look at. I can't just teach you here unless you implement. So we decided, we divided this into 3 different zones. First of all, it's the game plan. So we have a kickoff call. The first one is February 1st. Okay, this is where is your ground zero. This is where you start. During this call, we give you expectation, what you can expect from us, what we're going to do for you, what we expect from you, because like I said, it's a partnership. And then we're going to give you a game plan of what you need to do. Okay, in the first 4 weeks, let me tell you guys, it's crucial that you get this going. That's why I say start with the quick wins. That's the best way to get going. Okay, but you have to be fully committed. I wouldn't want somebody, man, maybe I'll dip my toes in it. No, 100% or nothing. Okay, game plan. We're going to give you the next step, and this is where we onboard. At this point on, this is, like I said, this is where you start. Then the roadmap. We have a student portal. If you remember, I said it took me almost 2 years to put all the information I had from at that time. I was over 20 years in the business. When I started in 2011 coaching, took me 2 years from 2009 to 2011 to really compile all the information, and everything is in there. It's like a Library of Congress. There is training about wholesaling, fix and flips, rentals, all the contracts, how to raise private money, luxury real estate investing. That's what I'm doing right now. Bankruptcy properties, auctions, lease options, subject to rentals, Airbnb. Everything is in there. Everything. There is a ton of training. We are, by the way, 7 coaches here that we're going to be working with you in our own specialty. And most of them, guess what? They're past students. Okay. So the roadmap is going to give you a ton of information. And then we have the support. Liz, you want to talk about this?
Yeah. And one thing that Laura didn't harp enough on is we are active investors. A lot of people out there coaching don't actively invest. But all of our coaches are active investors that walk the talk. They were not coaches. We turned them into coaches. So understand that what we teach you is up to date. The second something hits like COVID, I jumped on as soon as the closure went. I was on that first Q&A call teaching how to bring it virtual overnight. So you have that help. Now, how's the support? Because you know what? You can go on YouTube University and find things out. But again, my son, who's 11, also posts on YouTube. So is it true? You don't know. But you could go there. You can go and listen to podcasts. You can go and, attend more and more webinars and piece together as much as you can. You could find the information out online, ladies. We're not hiding that there. We gave you a lot of information tonight for free, right? Can you admit for free this was a pretty damn good webinar workshop thing for you? Yeah. Yeah. So you can do that. Where this matters, where mentorship is, and I can show you millions of examples, is when you are doing deals and you are talking to sellers and they are saying things you don't know and they have $150,000 in liens against their property. True story. We've had students like this. Actually, they were our coaches. And they have all this kind of stuff that's going on. Where do you go when you are in the middle of deals and you need help? So here's how we give you support. You have five group calls every week where you can get on and ask questions. You are never more than a couple of days away from a call. The only time you're a couple of days away is because it's a weekend. You have 5 group calls, but that's great because you have a Facebook forum in between those calls where you can go and ask questions. This is the most active forum I have ever seen. There are questions going daily. There are women helping each other out because it's not just all newbies. We have women that are doing deals. We have private lenders in there that are also students. We have a lot of activity there. We go live there. We train there. We do a lot of things in that forum. On top of that, you get 2 mastermind sessions a month. This is so you can actually get on and talk to the students doing deals and asking them, what tools are you using? What deals are you, how'd you find the deal? What's the text message that worked for you? This is for students to help students out. Okay. Not just that, you get intensives. So those of you that were on the retreat, remember I told the students to bounce a few times because they didn't need to be in the room learning what are the steps to wholesaling and stuff like that. They needed to be working on their business. So they actually went and worked on their business with the coaches right there. So we have intensive several times a year, and then we have retreats where you can actually come and see us in person, like in September or online, and you get to be able to work on your business, and we do intensives there. There is a lot of support. We will review your contracts for you because I'm going to tell you right now, you want to send me your contracts. We have training on how to fill this out. And every time a student sends me a contract, even going through that, I have to rip it apart because they missed important stuff and put it back together. So you have the confidence of knowing your numbers are right, your offer is right, your contracts are filled out properly. That's where the support matters. It's not to just learn. Yes, you're going to learn. You're going to learn different different ways of doing things, and you're going to learn the right info from coaches that are actively investing. But that's not where it matters. It matters when you start doing the deal. We're going to push you to do the deal, but then when you do the deals and you're trying to put it into automation and build to 4, 5, 6 deals a month, you have coaches there that have done it and streamlined this all for you. Make sense? Like this is a level of support that I have not seen in other programs. We're a small community. Okay. We have about 80 students. That's it. 7 coaches. Imagine the level of support you get when you don't have to wait months to get your questions answered. You jump on a call or you get in the Facebook group and your questions are answered within a couple of hours. When you're in the middle of a deal and you're nervous because you can't figure it out, you have a coach that's going to help run the numbers with you. Yeah, we also teach on how to speak to your brokers because half of our coaches are licensed. Probably about 20 to 30% of our students are licensed. So how do you talk to your brokers? How do you make sure they don't take a percentage of your commission you make in wholesaling? Well, it's a fee in wholesaling, but they don't take a percentage of it. Laura, anything you want to add?
No, but think about it. You have basically 25 plus calls a month. And like I said, we don't expect you to be on all the calls, obviously, but we're always there. We got your back. You can message in the forum. You can jump on a call and you get so much support. We review your contracts. We do everything because we want you to succeed. This is my legacy. to leave something. Like, I came to a point in my life, I says, what am I going to do with 20 plus years of knowledge? What am I going to do with it if something happens to me, right? And now with 37 years in the business, I want to make sure I leave in power over women to build the life that they want, like I did. So the way it works is this. Like I said, I believe it's a partnership. And I don't believe in saying, okay, just pay for this coaching up front, and then we don't care if you're going to succeed or not. You're going to go into this group in this room with hundreds of other women. Good luck getting your questions answered. That's not how we work at all. And so this is how we decided to make this work. We do need you to be serious about it. We do need you to be committed. We don't want somebody that wants to kick tires or just want to try. So are you serious? Are you want to do this? Do you want to really learn? You want me to show you how you can do a deal in the next 4 weeks? Okay, I want you to put in the chat. Are you really serious about this? Are you to the point I was in 95 where I said, I don't have option B. I want to stick with it. I want to do this. I'm tired of making somebody else rich. I'm tired of being tired. Okay. So if you're at that point, this is how it's going to work. And there is no gimmicks here. The program is for 1 year. It's 12 months. It's called REI Growth Mastery. We don't have a cheaper program. We don't have a more expensive program. No, I don't believe in doing that. So I'm very transparent. It's 1 year program and is $10,000 down. $10,000 down payment to say, okay, I'm serious. I'm committed. And then is $1,000 a month for 1 year. Now we're doing something here tonight, 2 things actually that I think are really groundbreaking. Number one, we're going to give you the first 2 months free. So your payments are not going to start for 60 days till after the kickoff call, which is February 1st. Now, if you listen carefully, what did we say will happen in the first 4 to 6 weeks? With wholesaling, you're going to get a deal. That's going to be more than enough to recoup the down payment. So if some of you are afraid of sitting on the fence and say, oh, I hate to put that on my credit card or whatever, that will be motivation. I know if it's me, if I have money and skin in the game, I want to get my money's worth. I'm going to make sure I do whatever they tell me. If they tell me I can do that, I can do that, and I'm going to. And your $1,000 a month, $997 to be exact, is not going to start until after 60 days.
From your kickoff call. So you actually, your
call.
kickoff call is not for 2 more weeks. So you actually will have 2 weeks in our pre-training areas so that when the kickoff call happens, you hit the ground running and you already have everything as far as your foundation, business entity, choosing the area, getting an agent and title companies and all of that. That's all done. So that when your kickoff call happens, you start making money. You start calling sellers that week. So that by the time the 2 months happens, which will be March, April, you will have deals already under contract or going to closing.
Yeah. But there's another thing here also, and I know a lot of you say I bought into other programs in the past, or I'm afraid it's the only money I have. We give you also what I call the peace of mind guarantee. The peace of mind guarantee is that we're going to stick with you until you start closing deals, period. Yes, it's a year program, and honestly, the only reason you wouldn't close deals in a year is because something happened. Life happens, death in the family, you get sick. We've seen a lot of things happen over the last few years with COVID and everything else. That's the only reason something happens out of your control. And I want you to feel safe that it's like, oh yeah, well, too bad, your year is up. You didn't close deals. Oh, we don't care. No, we're not like that at all. Communicate with us, let us know, and you come back. We'll stick with you. We want everybody here to close deals. And even if you close 1 deal, which obviously once you learn, you're going to close multiple deals ongoing, that will recoup your investment. So don't worry about that. And on top of that is we give you 2 lifelines. What is a lifeline? Not only you get 25 plus calls a month, but you also get these special calls with one of the coaches, including myself, that we can sit with you and see how to develop a game plan with you, to listen to what your concerns are, to really get you through the roadblock, breakthrough, so you can start doing deals. So you can use these lifelines whenever you want in the course of your time with us.
I want to kind of harp on this a little more though, because I don't think you guys are new. You may not understand how important this is. When you're in the middle of a deal, oh, I just hit this. That's okay. When you're in the middle of a deal, this is when this comes in. You need somebody that can review your numbers, confirm it's right, same day. Like, hey, I have a deal. I need to talk to someone now. I need to talk to a coach. I want to do this. And I need to do this right now. I can't wait for another call. I can't wait for a group session. You get a one-on-one. This is called a lifeline, like throwing out the raft off of a boat for somebody that's like drowning, right? I need help now. This is invaluable. Yes, you have the group calls, but you don't have to wait for that. You can take a full hour if you need. And we go through every part of that deal. What do you do? Where do you need help? Let's run your numbers. Let's make sure you're putting in the right offer. Let's get your contract filled out. Let's double check your contract. Now, this is what you're going to say. Now, once it's accepted, this is what you're going to do. Because I'm telling you right now, when you do that first deal, you are going to forget everything you learned when it gets accepted or the seller says yes, because you're going to be so excited. It happens every time. It happened to me. I was on one of those hop on, hop off buses in San Francisco with Laura, and my first deal got yes. And I looked at her and said, what do I do now? So you can like reach out. You have lifelines. You can use this anytime. So if in the beginning the deal seems to go going smooth and you don't feel like you need it, great. The numbers are straightforward. You know what you're doing, great. Maybe you come across a deal at month 11 and it's this really complicated deal where it has like a clouded title and the seller's being crazy and the buyers are asking thousands of questions and you need to talk to someone right then and there. And it's a Friday afternoon and there's not another call till Monday. You can pull in your lifeline. So I really wanted to kind of harp on how important that bonus is. And we give you 2 of those to use at any time within your year. Now I know what's going to happen is like, well, what if I need more? You don't need more. I'm telling you, we are so on top of things. It's insane. I have 7 coaches answering questions in the group. I have 7 coaches on calls. They are all active investors doing multi-$100,000 a month. You're good. We will help you, Laura.
Yeah.
She has the face. She has the face. She wants to say something. So I know the face. We're going to bring her in.
Yeah. I know a lot of you are thinking about the cost, okay? But don't think about this cost of it. Think about this as an investment. Let's put this in the right context, okay? How many of you spent $10,000 on something that didn't give you any return? And
we can make that easy. How much have you spent in college? You're not financially free or you wouldn't be here. Let's think about it. How much did you spend in college? I can tell you right now, I spent $60,000 in college. I'm not using either degree that I got in college.
So the thing is this, you have to look at this as an investment in the sense that if somebody told you, okay, you put this $10,000 down and I'm going to show you how you're going to get this back many times over just in the first year, to me, that would be a no-brainer. I mean, if, you invest in IRAs or stocks, if my financial advisor told me you're going to get this back 10 times over in the first year, I would give him any money I can come up with, right? But that's the thing we're telling you here, is that we can show you and share with you what is possible. Because this is an investment. Think of this, you're building your future, you're building your life, and we're here with you. We'll give you the peace of mind guarantee. We're never going to take your money and let you where you are today. Because like Liz, when she shared in the charts, right? Where you want to be a year from now or the disaster. We don't want anybody to be in disaster zone. We're going to take you here, but you have to take the first step.
So one of the things that I want to say is if you are interested in joining our program, there's a link in the chat right now that Faith and my sister is posting, Alex. In order to get the bonuses, you have to schedule while we are still live. So we're about to go into a Q&A. So you need to, I would recommend scheduling as quick as possible. And I'm going to answer your questions about the program. If you have questions, we can answer it now. We can also answer it on the call. But if you want to honor the bonuses, which is the 2 months free, the peace of mind guarantee, and the 2 lifeline calls, then you want to schedule tonight, okay? Because if you were to try and schedule outside of this, we would not give any of these bonuses, all right? I was talking, we had somebody that was talking to a student the other day, and she said, I've interviewed a lot of programs and no one has offered a peace of mind guarantee. Because people do not back their programs because they take your money and run. right? Think about it. If they don't have a guarantee, it's because they don't know if you're going to actually do it. We're not going to do that for you or to you. So one thing I want to share real quick is before we go into the Q&A is I have a lot of testimonials here. Can we remove Laura's spotlight? I have a lot of testimonials here, a lot, and I'm only going to show you a few. So this is crazy. So Kay in the top left made $65,000 on her first deal. Giovanni here at the bottom, this was actually from today. They closed on property number 2. Number 3 is this Friday. They've wholesaled a few deals. They have also started rehabbing and fix and flip. This is all within the year with us. Hi, this was her flip. She is actually an agent in Texas, but she wanted to do more on the investing side. She has amazing taste, by the way. Carol is the one of our students that constantly shares where she's at. And within a year, she's been in now 2 years. Within a year, she was all green. Erin is the one I told you about. She posted this today. I grossed $74,000 on my land deal. She wholesaled land. So if you want to book, there is the link. You have until we have about 10 minutes. I would recommend booking now. If you need to figure out money, you can figure out money. But if you want to get those bonuses, I recommend booking before we end because they're only good for now. If you were at the retreat, you notice we offered different bonuses today. So you know that we change them up. You won't get the bonuses from the retreat. You will get the bonus for booking now, right? The bonus at the retreat was bigger because it was a retreat, right? So we offered more. So you don't want to wait because waiting, you're going to miss on opportunity. Last thing, and then we're going to go into that. These, if you look at the dates, are all within the last 60 days. I purposely did that so you could see that our 80 students, out of 80 students, there are people doing deals. And they're all doing different things. Airbnbs, rentals, fix and flip, putting out offers, closing deals. If you're at the retreat, you heard live testimonials. I brought 6 different students up to show you what the program did for them. The amount of money they made. One student said it straight up. She said, I made my investment into the program back with my first deal, plus an extra 15K. She's like, I'm going to rinse and repeat as much as I can. This one right here, she did a lifeline call. Susan here, this is what she posted. And then she did a lifeline call with me. And we had to work through, this was crazy. Both the seller and buyer were both losing their minds. We got her to closing. She closed. She said, I would not have closed this deal. I would have walked away if it wasn't for Liz. Wendy is another one. She closed on her, you saw her at the retreat. She was closing on her second rental. She's only been in the program since October. Rentals are a different ballgame than wholesaling. So I wanted to show that so that you can see that things are happening. I see people are scheduling calls. I'm telling you now, we're going to get off at 10. Another student closed on a property number 2 yesterday. Yeah, that's the one we were just sharing. This happens all the time. You see it all the time in our group. These ladies will share everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a Q&A. And, oh, okay, Laura, I can do that. Who wants to see our Facebook group to prove how active we are in there? Anyone want to see it? Maybe they need to see a little bit more like, hey, I want to see what people are asking.
And I know a lot of you are new and you're just like, okay, I just landed here tonight. Who are these two? And, don't know much about us. So the proof is in what we're doing, right? So I want you to show the group that, show the interaction that is going on in the group.
Okay, let's do it. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is our group, REI Growth Mastery. You have to be a student. I go live at the beginning of the month. We do raffles that are ranging anywhere from $300 to $400 that I raffle off to the students every single month. Free gifts for you guys. This is our way of saying thank you. This is the one I'm telling you. I was not lying to you today. This happened. She posted. I just closed on my property. I've got an appointment tonight. I need to negotiate. Is there a way to do this? Maria is one of our students. People asking, how did you, coaches, sorry. People are asking, how did you find this? Stuff like that. More questions. Hey, I noticed that you guys think you can't get people discounted on the MLS. So a student shared where the deal was significantly less. We share memes. This is Paula. If you were at the retreat, you know who she is. This is a group. This is a family. All kinds of stuff going on constantly. Letters going out. I'm going to go through that fast just because it has an address there. Reminders. This was today. And I want to read this so you can see. She just joined us. She was really terrified to join us. She said she joined from the retreat. I'm so grateful to have become a member of this wonderful group of ladies last week and start my real estate journey. There is so much to learn and absorb. Sometimes it takes more than one study of a module to sink in. I recently moved from Maine to South Carolina in the hopes of retiring, but the economy gods had other thoughts. However, Liz and Laura kept popping up on my social media, and I took this, this must have been my sign. I attended several masterminds, recent virtual retreats, and as many of their lives as I could. The care and support from these events was palpable, and I knew if they felt I was a good fit, that the knowledge I would gain would be priceless. I feel blessed to be here and looking forward to being an active part of the group and creating wonderful friendships. And then, of course, people jumped in and, always make it there. So you see the support here. But let's
And
go
this is
into
just today. This is
just today. I'm still scrolling. Where do I find the purchase agreement? Do I disclose that I'm an agent? What do you say there, right? What do you
and
say if you're an
I
agent?
answered that question.
I know, but
Yeah.
they got to be in the group to see all the answers.
Oh.
Does anyone have a title company that serves nationwide? I have a property I need to run title on. First offer submitted, but I'm looking for insight. What am I missing? They break down the numbers. We go in and answer it. Airbnb is different. We have a few, and then we have a coach on that.
Yeah, one
Morning
of the
Rock
coaches
Stars.
on Airbnb, she used to be our student, and now she owns over 50 rentals, and she's Elizabeth Sage.
Yep. Um, while we are coaching, why don't we help each other out? The students, the ladies here are so good. They want to see success. Angela is also an agent for those of you. Yesterday I was driving. Oh, this is kind of funny. Okay, so this is kind of stuff we share because they got kids. All of our kids get involved in our business. She's like, yesterday driving the car, I overhear my children talking about something. I start listening. I hear my son say, you never want to buy a property near a TITTY bar. They won't be rentable. So your kids learn as well, even if it's funny. She's like, I don't know if I should be horrified or proud of his knowledge here. So we share news that is sharing in. I'm in Alabama. I'm a licensed agent and a new investor. Questions. What if your comps are over 7 months old? Please remind me again, if it needs a full rehab, what are we going to put here? Just submitted my first ever offer. How did it go? Introducing themselves, getting to know her. This group, this is just the last couple of days. Ladies from our retreat that joined. Now, I want to say something. We are an interview process, meaning that you can't just go to our website and join our program. You have to talk to a member of my team. You will be talking to Faith, and she knows what to look for. Meaning, if she does not think you are a good fit, or we can't coach you, we can't help you, she's going to let you know. We're not going to take your money if you want to do commercial real estate investing, for example, or we don't feel you're ready just yet, right? She knows what to look for. So I want you to know that as you talk to her, that you are going to get, she's going to decide. But you see how many people, we had over 40 people scheduled from the retreat. You saw how many were in that kickoff call picture. There was like 6. We make sure that we can help you. We are very picky. We only have 80 students. Why? Because we have a guarantee. We need to know that you're going to do this in a year, that you're going to reach your goals. That is super important to me and Laura. And I'm sure you saw in the post of how much we care. We take it personally that you trust us, but you have to have some skin in the game. People are like, that's a lot of money. Don't think of it, like Laura said, as a cost. I'm going to give you an example here. We heard this over the weekend, but it makes sense, right, Laura? All right, so let's talk about cost. Is $300,000 a lot of money? Yes. To anybody, that's a lot of money. Okay, 20K is a lot of money. It's okay to say yes, that's a lot of money. All right, so let's go. Okay, so $300,000 is a lot of money. But if I were to tell you that you can get a house on Malibu Beach for $300,000 fully fixed up, I said some people like, what? Infinity pool, you will have a Porsche, a Lamborghini, and a Ferrari sitting in your driveway, and a personal shopper for $300,000 flat fee. Is that a lot of money for a house in Malibu of that? 5-bedroom, 7-bath mansion? Money is relative. And for those of you that are like, that's great, Liz, remember where I started. Laura made me pay for coaching, by the way. I did not get away scot-free with that. I still had to pay because she said you have to have some skin in the game. She said, I know if you pay, even if it's just $100, you will do it because you don't have any money to do it anyway. So think about it this way. This is an investment. There is no other company, there's no other business where you can go invest 20K and make millions. And I'm not selling you a pipe dream. You see it. You see people walking it all the time. And when you ask what they do, they say, I'm in real estate or I invest in real estate. How do you build your net worth? Owning properties. This isn't a pipe dream. You know it's doable. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to go into some coaching for 10 more minutes, okay? Because it's 10 o'clock. So we're going to go for coaching. We're going to do some Q&A. If you are on the fence, I suggest if you are serious and you want to make it happen, schedule a call, lock in your bonuses, talk to Faith, and see what we can work out for you. Okay? But this is because you're interested in joining. This is not to tell Faith how pretty she is. And yes, this has happened. And we're all pretty. We're all pretty women. But you could tell me that in my Facebook Messenger. Okay? So this has happened. This is why I'm saying it. This is not some joke.
She's
Like
saying she
literally.
would take compliments.
I'll take compliments. Yep. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a Q&A. The link is in the chat. Make this happen. Don't let another year pass by. You do not want another year. I can get you to where you want to be. Laura can get you to where you want to be within a year.
Oh,
You
even less
have to.
than that.
Oh, yeah. But I say a year because that's our program. You just have to commit. You have to commit. How bad do you want to change? How bad do you want to leave your job? How bad do you want to make 20, 30K months? I can get you to do a deal or two a month consistently in a year. If you listen to us and you take our steps and you ask questions and you get on the coaching calls, yep. How bad does the pain? Yeah, exactly, Sandy. How bad does the pain hurt? Because eventually you get fed up. Ever see anyone lose a significant amount of weight? It's because something happened where they got fed up and they were tired of living the way they live. And some of you be like, I don't really have that bad of a life. But then you wouldn't be here tonight. You want to be trying to find something else. There's something in you that wants more.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do.
I want to say that I want to share something here. And, you know, a lot of you are comfortable. Yeah, you want to get out of it, but you're not comfortable enough. When you get to the point where you got to do something, like with me in 95, when I decided I had to get out of my corporate, and I'm going to share something else more vulnerable to you. In 2007, when housing crisis happened, I pretty much lost everything. What happened is I was in a partnership with somebody. We were raising private money. We had over 20 fix and flip going at one time, wholesaling over 10 deals every month. And overnight, everything was gone. And this business partner embezzled all the money, forged my signature. FBI showed up on my door. She ended up in jail. She was my best friend. Okay. And for 2 years, I sat there like a deer caught in the headlight. I hated real estate. I wanted to go back to work. You know what I got from the employment agency? Oh, you have a master's degree from 1995. You haven't worked in corporate. What job do you want to do? Right? So I couldn't do anything. So in 2009, after my money liquidated, I lived off my money for over 2 years. Everything, I was almost broke. And I said, what am I going to do next? I want to go into, and I realized the short selling foreclosure prevention was the way to go. But I didn't know what to do. And I wanted to really expedite because I was running out of money. And what I did is I went ahead and took the money, the credit card. I had only one credit card left with whatever I had on it. And I'm not telling you this, so you have to do this. And I said, I'm going to put everything I have on this credit card for this coaching because I need to expedite. I can't wait. This was in November of 2009. I went to Las Vegas. I went for learn from this guy that was teaching about short sale. He had over 100 short sales under contract. And I was like, I want to learn from the best. I went to him, put everything I could on the credit card. And by the end of the year, I had over 30 short sales under contract. I took a leap of faith. I knew obviously it was the real thing. And then I never looked back. But what I'm saying to you, I've been there. I've been to the point where it's like, I didn't have any choice. My back was against the wall. All my real estate was gone. I had foreclosures. I lost everything and I bounced back up. So I've been there. But once you decide to take that action, once you decide that there is no other option, you have to make this work, because my kids depend on me, because I didn't want to be, lose my own house. I said, I'm going to do it. And when I invest something like that, trust me, I'm going to get my money back. And I made sure I got that credit card bill paid off as quickly as possible, and all the other bills. And within the first year, I made enough money that I paid off the 2 mortgages I had on my house that I had to get in order to live on. But that's what I'm saying. When enough is enough, you're going to do something about it. But you have to make the decision. And it's enough in your life that you say, you know what, I'm going to take that leap of faith. And, coincidentally, Faith is with our team, and you're going to be talking to her. But that's what it is. So I'm not talking here from a place of, I haven't been there. I have. Trust me, I have.
And the
And
last thing I want to say is, if you have a time that's not working, if you don't see a time that works for you, just go ahead and message Faith. We can get you on a different time. She might still have you fill out the form so we have your info, but she can change your time. So just let us know as well.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share with you, because I didn't have time to talk a lot of my story, but I think a lot of you can relate to what I just said.
Yep. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about questions. Let me scroll up. I'm trying to see the time commitment as a new student. On average, I see a new student take anywhere from 4 to 10 hours in a week. You have to remember you're building a business. This has to be a commitment, meaning that even if you just do an hour a day and a little longer on your days off, you want to do something every day, because of consistency and serendipity, and really making sure that you do stuff every single day, even if it's little. But you can do this in as little an hour a day. I started with an hour a day, and then I built up while I was really trying to automate things. And then I went back down to less than an hour a day. But I have a lot of students that are agents. I have a lot of students that are full-time jobs or stay-at-home moms and homeschooling on top of it. I have a lot of students of all backgrounds, races, ethnicities, accents, things like that. We have students from the Netherlands. We have students from Canada. We coach on wholesaling, buy and hold, and fix and flip. This is just a wholesaling webinar, so we focused on wholesaling, but you will get access to what you want to focus on. If you are interested in only wholesaling, you can wholesale. When you're ready to, because you built some capital to get into rentals and flip, we'll flip you into another program. So we coach on all 3. We're just talking wholesaling tonight because that's what the workshop's about. But no, we coach on all of it. You will hear the beauty of group coaching is when you get on these calls, you're going to learn so much, because there are ladies in the middle of deals. And you're going to see how we tell them to handle it, so that if you come across that, you will know how to handle it. So there's a lot of things here. So any questions that you guys have, we're going to open up for a few minutes. Once the Q&A is done, though, and we get off, there will be no option to get the bonuses. I see a ton of you scheduling calls. I'm super excited at the opportunity to hopefully get to work with you guys and build your business. But let's get into some Q&A. So you can ask questions about the program, or you can ask questions about anything that we have talked about tonight. Let's just keep it on topic of things we talked about tonight, so that we don't get all confused or on other tangents. Will you ever stop this program? No, I don't think so. But we just upped the price. So we did just up the price. So keep that in mind. We gave you guys a discount tonight that we don't always offer the discount. We don't offer the peace of mind guarantee every time. We don't offer, the bonus. The people at the retreat got a heck of a lot bigger bonuses, right? But they took action. They spent 2 days with us. So we have a list of different bonuses. If you can put your questions into the chat, it'll be a lot easier for time's sake. I just want to make sure we get to everybody. But yeah, so no, we won't stop this. But how long are you going to wait to go after your goals? When do you decide to get on the green line?
And one other thing I want to say about the program. Now, we discontinued any other program, by the way. We have only this program, and this program is built around, it's very customized to what you want to do. Like Liz says, it's definitely not about wholesaling only. That's where I get a lot of fun with. That's why the game plan call. And you also get 2 lifelines. You get to talk to me personally. and I can give you some clear direction on what you need to do. Some of you might say, well, I'm not sure what strategy I want to do. Well, we're going to show you which strategies to choose based on where you are right now. And then as soon as you move forward, a lot of people say, well, I started with wholesaling, but I want to get into rentals. I'll show you. Remember when I shared with you how I got into rentals in 91? And another thing I want to share with you, I got into rentals without using any bank financing. Every financing I did was creative financing because I didn't have credit. I didn't have a job. So I was like, I'm thinking outside the box. So I'm going to share with you how I did it and how I got to $10,000 in passive income within about a year and a half. Okay. So it's customized to you.
What happens after the year? We don't kick you out. You go to month. So you go to month. You don't have to pay the full 20K or anything. It's cancel anytime after month to month. So you can do that. So it's not a renewal every year.
There is no audio, Liz.
Wonder, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I think my mic died. So as far as after a year it does not renew, like fully for a year, you go month to month. Okay. So you have that. Do you have to focus in our state market? No. Remember, I don't where I live, I don't invest. I go out of where I live. So no, you don't have to. It's really up to you. Okay. How do you find buyers and build relationships with them when you're wholesaling virtually? I want to talk about this. When you're in person or in your state and you find a buyer on Facebook, you're not going to go meet them. You're going to call them and talk to them through the phone 99% of the time. It's a mindset shift here. You can build relationships the same way. So I had a student once that was like, I'm going to Israel and I'm worried that I'm not here. I said, well, what do you do when you're there? She's like, well, yeah, I'm on the phone at home. I was like, so you're at home or in your car? It's like, what's the difference then when you're in Israel? You're not going there and physically meeting them. It's a mindset shift. Okay. As someone that is new to real estate investing, I start from the very beginning, creating an LLC. Is this truly REI 101, building my business from the ground up? I'm gonna let Lori answer some too.
Oh, I get to talk?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Which question you want me to answer?
So someone that is this made for someone that's truly new?
Of
Like
course.
real
Of
estate
course.
101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love wholesaling, even in the business for over 30 years. Like I said, it's my ATM. I bought a car 5 months ago. I don't know if anybody know what a Morgan is. And I didn't want to liquidate any of my money. So I decided I was just going to use my money from wholesaling. I did 3 wholesale deals. Well, I made more than 10,000 per deal, but that was enough to get me the Morgan. So what I'm saying to you is, at any phase of the business, wholesale is always going to be good. How many of you want to buy rental properties? Okay, great. So unless you have, a lot of you might not have the money, or you don't want to liquidate your pension fund or whatever to do it. Wholesaling. Well, a couple, Jim and Patricia, they're coaches now, but they actually started as my students about 4 or 5 years ago. And they started with rentals, by the way. And then they didn't want to wholesale. Then 2 years later, they start wholesaling because I told them, I said, wholesale, then use the money to pay off the rentals. They have a portfolio now of over 10 properties paid free and clear, okay, rentals here in Florida, because they use their money from wholesaling to pay off their rentals. So that's the thing, you can leverage wholesaling with rentals. What are you going to do with the properties that you find that you don't want to keep here for yourself for rentals or fix and flip? What are you going to do with those properties? You're going to wholesale them, right? I make money on the deals that I don't want for my fix and flips. I just wholesale them. So that's the thing, that wholesaling is always going to be something that goes hand in hand with whatever strategies you're doing. You make money on stuff that you don't want. So even if you don't want to wholesale, that's something smart for you to have so you don't leave money on the table. So it's good for beginners and it's good for people that are really taking their business to the next level and already been doing deals.
Laura's buying you time to fill out this form because we were supposed to end like 3 minutes ago. So if you're filling out a form, she's buying you time because you have about 2 minutes with her answers. So I'm going to answer these next two questions, and then we're going to close out. Do we connect with existing networks or need to create our own network, meet attorneys, stuff like that? So you're in Orlando, so I can tell you right now, we already have a lot of your network needs. But let's say you're not in Orlando. One of our most successful students is in Orlando, by the way, Christine. We can help you find ways to find the title companies, or there's a good chance we have a student that will help you, that can help you. So understand that, okay? So we can help you, we'll teach you how. Here's the thing, we're not going to do anything for you. Why? Because then you will always be dependent on us to make your business happen. We are here to do it with you. And I talk about this during the kickoff call. We are going to teach you, like teach a man to fish. It's important that you know how to do everything. That way, when you don't have us, your business still runs. You're not dependent on us for tools. You're not dependent on us to make your business run. You know how to do everything. If I were to lose technology tomorrow, I can tell you right now, I can still run a successful business. I know how to do it all. I know the bare bones. I know what to do. You will always know how to make money. Okay. Do you think real estate opportunities will harden and become less accessible in a few years? Laura, it's time for your crystal ball.
Oh yeah, by the way, she did buy me a crystal ball for Christmas right
There's
here.
a reason I bought her this. When COVID hit, the most successful gurus out there were telling people to get out of real estate. And I said, Laura, you need to get on, you need to do lives, you need to be really active, telling people why they should not get out of real estate. I sent letters to my buyers telling them my buyers quadrupled their income by staying in real estate when the other gurus out there were saying, go sell on Amazon and go do this and go do that. Get out of real estate. It's going to be horrible. And so for Christmas, 2 Christmases ago, I bought her a crystal ball because I tell her all the time, she can see into the future. She knows exactly where the real estate market's going to go and she knows what to do. So anyway, Laura, do you think real estate opportunities are going to harden and become less accessible?
Well, remember what I said in the beginning of tonight? It seemed like a long time ago, but remember what I said, that I said, as a real estate investor, what do? You look for opportunities. When the market changes, when things change, that's where the most opportunities come up in place. Because, it's like you turn the light on, all the cockroaches run away. So all the fly-by-night real estate investor, all the people that are not being real in the business don't know what to do. Like when COVID happened, there are all these webinars of real estate investors say, oh, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go sell on Amazon or doing other things. Instead of just, okay, how do I reinvent myself? So like I told Liz that year, let's buy properties right now. And everybody was looking at us like, you're insane. You buy properties, interest rates are in the twos. You can't go wrong with that. People are staying, they're renting, they're moving, they're relocating. And, all the properties we bought, now they doubled in value over the last 3-4 years. But that's the thing you have to do, And one of the questions I want to answer, Maria is asking, what are the risks involved in wholesaling for beginners? And the main risk, Maria, is wholesaling is timing. Remember when Liz explained to you, you have 4 to 6 weeks to get all these pieces together? That's the timing. Knowing how to do the steps at the right time and writing a contract that protects you. Those are the 2 main things, Maria, to really make this work for you as a beginner. And this is most of the people making a mistake.
One of the beauties about wholesaling is it is less of the risky of the 3 strategies. And once you know how to wholesale, you will know how to do rentals and flips. It's a lot easier to transition than to start with rentals and flips and transition into wholesaling. You will always know how to find the properties. Landlords and rehabbers usually have to rely on wholesalers and the MLS to bring them their deals. You won't have to. You will know how to cut that fee out and make more of a profit for yourself. It is also the less risky. Everyone's like, Liz, why have you not gotten into rentals or flips? Because I don't want to deal with the liabilities. Now I have to this year because my CPA told me last year I needed to start buying rentals. And now he's like, now you're going to owe like 6 figures in taxes because you didn't listen to me. So now I have no choice. I have to get into rentals this year because I'm not paying all that in taxes. Gladly will pay it though, because that means I'm making money. But what I'm saying is you will know how to do that. You will know how to get into rentals. You will know how to get into flips a lot easier. and there's not as much liability when you're wholesaling. There's not as much risk, but you do need to know how to fill out your contract right, what contingencies are in there to protect you, how to write it, making sure you're putting out the offer so you don't have to back out. What are your correct offers that you can offer as a solution to your sellers? You are a problem solver here. You are somebody that's here to provide a solution. You are not taking advantage of these people. You are offering them a solution to get out of their situation that they put themselves in, right? Because you're dealing with distressed sellers. So you're in there to help them. So I wanted to kind of talk about that because I know a lot of people, wholesalers get a bad rap in this. Don't be one of those, right? We come through with morals and authenticity. We're here to help. We've given people money for U-Hauls, down payments on their next place, helping them move. You're here to help people. You're here to offer and provide a solution. So, Laura, is there anything you want to say? Because I had one person message me. I'm trying to fill this form out as quick as possible. So I'm trying to give them that option for the bonus. Is there anything you would like to elaborate on real quick before we jump off?
I really love empowering and teaching, and I wish you knew how much I do. And I was telling actually somebody today, I did a training session yesterday with the students on writing what I call my three-prong contract. I come up with these things. I tell you right now, I've been in this business for so long, I guess, that sometimes I get bored. And I come up with things that nobody of our coaches ever mentioned, like the quick wins or the long nurture or the three-prong contract that I'm doing. And so it's a contract basically structured around making win-win situations where 95% of my sellers end up saying yes to me. Okay. So I love empowering. I love teaching. I love coming up with new ideas. And I want to build a community. To us, today we were talking and we were with our team, and I was like, I want the ladies to be in our community for 5 years. Not just 1 year on your own. Yeah, you're a month to month, but because you want to be in the community. This business is evolving, is changing. And who are you going to talk to when you start doing deals? Even if you go and learn from YouTube or podcasts and stuff like that, when you start doing deals, who are you going to ask? A real estate agent? An attorney? They don't have the answers. They're not investors.
They're going to talk you out of it.
They're going to talk you out of it.
Bad.
So that's the thing. You want to be around women that are there what you're doing. Maybe with a little more knowledge in the beginning. And then once you get the knowledge, you pay it back, you pay it forward. That's why we have ladies in our team right now. They are being with us 2-3 years. And some of them, we call them to be coaches, like Dawn. She took off. She's a powerhouse. She owns over 50 rentals, and she's Elizabeth's age.
And she was a student.
Yeah, she was a student. So I said, teach everybody else, how did you do this? And that's the thing we do. We want to pay for, we want to build a community. It's much more than just coaching.
Yep.
And that's how I want you to feel like you found a community. And you saw some of the things Elizabeth brought up in the Facebook group, from say, I'm glad I found this community. And those were not staged. Those are things that just came in today. I didn't even see them. They just came in this afternoon. So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't stage anything. We don't mock up, or we don't do a bunch of video testimonials or things like that. The proof is in the pudding. We're not going to force you to sign up with us. If you notice, we still answered questions. We still talked about the most common things going on. We don't force anybody. You're either going to see that we are the real deal and we want to help you, or you're going to find somebody else that maybe you better fit with. All I say is do your due diligence on anyone you join. Because there are a lot of people out there that look really good on paper, like look really good on social media, but have no freaking idea what they're teaching you. And that's why we offer this for free. So that those of you that maybe can't even afford to join just yet, have a way to get the right information. That's why we made our retreat free. That was a lot of hours that we gave out for free of info. But it's because at least the right information is out there and you guys know what's going on. Laura's right. We're here to show you that women can do it, that you can rock the investing world, and you can do this with morals and integrity and authenticity and still become successful. But at the end of the day, I can't make you become successful. You have to want this for yourself. And what are you willing to do to reach it? So with that being said, we are going to start closing out this meeting. I just want to say, Yeah, Kristen, I just know you are the real deal. I took the leap with someone else and it's been very difficult and very expensive. Yeah. Sadly, I hear that all the time. Paula at our retreat, actually, several of our students at the retreat shared openly that they had invested tens of thousands of dollars in other programs and did not get the support they needed. So what I want to say is, one, was this good information for free?
We actually have students that are still active in our coaching program, and they came to us because they said our community, there were so many, they could never get anybody to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing I want to say. I was told one time that the best coaches are the ones that have gone to hell and back. You know, think about it. It's easy to coach when everything goes well. It's easy to coach, when you just start. But to have been a test of time, being through recessions in the economy and having lost everything and gained everything back, that's how you can coach people, because then you know the test of time. And I just want to say, I've been to hell and back a couple times, and I'm here to make sure you don't, or
Yeah.
try to make sure you
We
don't.
have a few that's commenting saying they got into a big mentorship program. It was too big and they're still paying for it. The one thing I want to say is we get a lot of people that do that. We're getting off, I promise. But we get a lot of people that do that. I just don't want to leave questions unanswered.
Yeah.
But they made that money and back in our program. And that just becomes a thing of the past. That's a learning experience, right? And you just I've seen people invest over $100,000 in other coaching programs and got no support, no help, bounced around. $100,000 came to us. We were a little cheaper at the time. Came to us, made that money back and some within a year. So at the end of the day, kind of think of it more as this sucks, but it was a learning experience. Let me go where I'm going to guarantee to make money. They have a guarantee, they have a peace of mind that they will stick with me until I make this money, until I make this money back. Right? So I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful evening. I just saw one come through, so that's great. So I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful evening. I think we've prolonged this as long as we could to get you guys to be able to book. We're going to leave the Zoom up here just for a few minutes for those of you that are still filling things out. If a time does not work for you, Faith is going to stay on for a few minutes. Just message her real quick. Give her your number. You guys can set up a time out of this. I'm really glad you guys had a good time. Like, honestly, I know it's late for a lot of you because it's like 10:30 for us here. Thank you for staying on. And, we're really grateful that you guys got to be a part of it. And you guys were so active tonight. It is awesome.
I loved it. I
love it. All right. Well, if you have any remaining questions or anything, you're more than welcome to ask Faith. I'm going to go ahead and get it off camera and let Faith kind of clean up wherever we need help. Anyone that needs help, different times, stuff like that. Once this Zoom is closed, the bonuses leave. So just kind of keep that in mind. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I'll see some of you guys on our live on Thursday. Bye, everybody. And I look forward to working with all of you that's scheduled. So it will be a lot of fun.
Bye. See you soon.